It's F-Flex on the beat. It's F-Flex on the beat. Flex on the beat. Flex on the beat. Flex on the beat. First. First. First. First.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another day of VCT EMEA coming to you live from Messe Berlin. I am your host Yingsu and I've got Cougar and Lothar back with me, and we definitely did not coordinate our outfits. We just ended up all wearing something that matched.
Yeah, the funny bit is that yesterday you were like, what are you wearing tomorrow? And I said, I'm wearing white. And this morning I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm just going to wear this. And we showed up in completely different outfits. But yeah, yesterday was, you know, a bit crazy, but I feel like today's going to be a little bit more even.
I wanted to go for pink again, but I was like, nah, let's go for the boring
You have
gray.
to save the
and
pink
I fit
outfits
now.
for Wednesdays.
Yeah, I'm glad we get to see you standing up in a bit because you are wearing a pretty
Yeah.
cool outfit today. I think it might sell out, the store that sells it might sell out. But you were kind of making a joke about this in rehearsals, Cougar, about how, you know, EMEA, we finally get some drama. We finally
like a
get
finally,
talked
but
about.
yeah.
I still don't think it's as severe as NA. I think NA definitely still take the crown when it
They
comes
have a
to
monopoly. In that.
yeah, the Twitter
totally.
Valorant drama. It's like every tier of Valorant every day. But yesterday there was some pretty big news that we saw. We have a tweet here from Carmine Core, one of the teams that's been really struggling in the league right now, and they announced that New Zero is going to be taking a step back. It sounded like his own wish. It sounded like he wanted to maybe step down from the roster, and Lothar, and in doing that, they've promoted their assistant coach.
That is unprecedented, if I remember correctly, in general, and it's gonna be his first appearance as well in the Tier 1 Valorant Esports. And not only that, he's also gonna be the IGL for the team. There's so much going on right now with Carmine Corp, it's actually unreal.
I mean, it does make a little bit of sense because really he is their sixth player. So it's just like they're promoting the sub to actually fill in that role. And he himself wanted to make sure, he also posted a tweet, being he acknowledged the situation. He is going to be taking that role. He acknowledged that he's not going to be as good mechanically as other players, but he's still going to try his best.
Yeah, 50,000% working in the shadows for this team. That's a lot of percentage.
Yeah.
But
That's over 6,000.
I don't know, over 9,000, Lothar.
I was just checking.
9,000.
See that?
But what I will say is that, this word working in the shadows, of course, he's been with his team. I'm sure he's done a lot for the way they've been playing. But the fact of the matter is, like you mentioned, he hasn't actually played in Tier 1 VCT before, Lothar. It doesn't feel like a Kamek situation here.
He also said that he doesn't have the skills of New Zera, but I'll be honest with you, if you cannot match the performance with New Zera's ADR and ACS records from this season, that's gonna be very dire because New Zera was actually at the bottom.
What did Safe say last night? His advice.
Oh yeah, he said he should just bonkard it. If you guys don't know the lore of VCT,
You missed out.
yeah, Guild had an IGL bonker who, let's say, didn't have the best ADR in general. It was around 75 typically, but he was IGLing the entire team to a medicure success, I would say. So yeah, just throw utility and help.
Yeah, if Zesh thinks that he's good, he's been doing all of this in the shadows. Let's see the impact that he can have on the game, because we also saw some tweets from Scream saying that him and Nivera had been through that experience already, where Link, when they were in Liquid, stepped down, and it's not a pleasant situation. But to me, it's more about the human factor, that for some reason somebody has seen themselves, and I'm talking about New Zera here, in a situation that it was literally over them, and they decided to back off. So I think that we should be a little bit, human about it, and just think that this is a person that has gone through so much that he decided to give up.
Yeah, nobody just willy-nilly kind of give up on their job here, and especially with Link. I know he's spoken about it as well publicly, but maybe this is a new chapter for Keiko. We'll see tomorrow to see how they do. But before we get to that, Lothar, I heard that you wanted to do something fun. So we'll give you the stage for a fun segment.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take over as the host.
Ooh, okay.
I prepared a specific persona for that as well. So I hope you guys gonna enjoy what we have in store. Welcome to the first ever National Valorant Spelling Bee. We have 2 finalists today after grueling competition when they were doing that in the local areas. On the stage, I would like to welcome our first contender, Yinsu, coming from England. 11 years old, is currently attending the esteemed primary school of Valorant economics and good manners. She loves retro UK music like the Beatles and Prodigy, and dislikes rude people. How are you doing, Yinsu? You nervous?
I love the Beatles, I really do.
You need the help with a mic?
Oh, I got it. I actually do love the Beatles. I know everything
fantastic.
about the Beatles. If anyone ever wants to test me one day, feel free. Yeah.
First time on the telly, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I've been really honored to be in the grand finals of the Spelling Bee. I pride myself for my spelling powers, so I think I can bring this home.
Awesome. Let's start.
Okay.
You're for sure gonna do great. Don't be nervous about it. It's all Valorant related. Your first word will be kill per round.
Kill per round? Can you give me the definition of the word, please?
Of course. The acronym KPR stands for kill per round, which measures the amount of kills a player gets per round.
Can I get that in a sentence as well, please?
Of course. Last Wednesday, a crazy person attacked me while I was on my way to a restaurant. He flung an egg at me while screaming, Durka is the only player with over 1-0 KPR in the VCT EMEA. Then he ran away frantically.
Wow, okay, that's a really long sentence. I think I've got it. Okay, I'm gonna attempt it. Kill per round. KILLPERROUND. Kill per round.
Very impressive. For the second task, it will be first death.
Oh, first death, did you say? Death?
Yes.
Yeah, let's get the definition.
All right. The acronym FD stands for first deaths, and it describes the amount of times a player was the opening death in a particular match.
The last sentence actually really helped me with this, so can you please also use this in a sentence?
No problem, Insu. In yesterday's interview with Redgar, Angel, and CNET, the players were alluding that the first death stats only exists to blame the Omen players. Redgar refused to say how many times did he die first. It was 34 times.
Okay. First death. Okay. ANGEL. First death.
No.
It was a valiant attempt, I feel like.
Very valiant attempt. Let's just
Oh,
skip it.
sorry. ANGE1.
That's almost correct. That's almost correct. I mean, it's on point, I would say. But no, we're not gonna make this one a correct one. All right, third one for you. The last one for you. It's gonna be cast.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. Definition, please.
It's a percentage of rounds in which player either had a kill, assist, survived, or was traded.
It sounds like a really useless word to have. But any sentence, please?
No problem. We have one prepared. There's an urban legend that states each time a caster uses cast unironically on the broadcast, one analyst dies of second-hand embarrassment.
Okay, I got it.
Please go.
Cast, K-A-S-T, cast.
Bravo.
Yes. I got two. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Fantastic, Insu. Now we're gonna welcome our second contestant is Cougar, attending currently Escuela Primaria de Valorant Excelencia Fundamental.
That was surprisingly good.
Quiet, please. She is 12 and already diamond in ranked. Impressive. She is currently accompanied by her mother in the audience. Feel free to wave.
Hi, Mom. Hola, Mama.
I heard that if you're gonna win today, there's gonna be a pony waiting for you at home.
Is that a joke because of my hair? Do you know that in Spain, we actually don't do this because our language actually is functional and we don't need these things? Because
Well,
it's not
thankfully for you,
complicated.
we're doing this in English.
So I cannot spell in Spanish.
Fantastic. All right, let's jump in to the first one. Average combat score.
Average combat score. Can I get a definition?
Average combat score is a metric to determine performance of a player match based on the damage, order of kills, multi-kill, non-damaging assists.
Okay, could you use it in a sentence, please?
No problem. Common Core fans are furious about the unfairness in the league. The argument that TL and Fnatic play with a 6-player advantage as Derka and Save have the ACS of 2 KC players combined.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. AVERAGESCOMBATSCORE.
Fantastic, Cougar. Very proud of you. Your mom is proud as well, I heard.
My pony's
But
waiting
she's
for
smiling
me.
right now. 2 more. You need to get more than Insu. Second
No.
task. First kill.
First kill.
Yes.
Is it 1 word, 2 words?
It's 2 words.
Okay. Could I please get the definition?
Of course. The acronym FK or FB stands for first kill or first blood and is a metric to determine an amount of times a player gets the opening frag in a round.
Okay. Could I ask for you to use it in a sentence?
Of course, we have one. This is an actual fact. Damning video evidence emerged of Twistin screaming, got mine, whenever he gets a first blood with a shorty.
Okay. I'm gonna try. FIRSTKILL.
Bravo. Now, the last one. If you win it, if you get it right, not only you get a pony, but you also win the first Valorant National Spelling Bee competition, Cougar. Very big moment for you. ADR, average damage per round.
Average damage per round. Average damage per round. Definition, please.
Average damage per round is a metric to determine the amount of damage player deals during each round. Surprisingly.
Okay, I've been loving the sentences. I think that everybody else has been loving them too. So can I please have it used in a sentence?
Of course. Giant's Cloud was seen plotting to swap to a duelist role so he can get higher ADR and overtake Durka and Safe in this highly respected and highly prestigious leaderboard. No comment was made by Fitinho and Nuki yet.
I'm sure that we will hear it soon. Okay, I'll try. Was it ADR, right?
Average damage per round.
AVERAGE DAMAGE PERROUND.
Bravo, we have a winner.
I actually had to
coming
think
in
a little
from
bit about that one.
Quiet. Let's assume that you're 12. You're doing great. Fantastic. Opponent waits for you at home. I heard from your mom. Here we have no actual trophy, but congrats, Kakuka. You're the first ever winner of National Valorant Spelling Bee. And now, let's go back to today's match schedule.
I'm not salty at all, in the slightest, but Cougar very well deserved a win there. We're going to have a rematch a bit later on, but as you guys can see, our match schedule, we usually have 2 games on the Thursday, but today we just have FUT versus Giants. I will fill you in, guys, a little bit as to why we aren't seeing the second game. Today's VCT EMEA match between Fnatic and Koi has been postponed due to multiple positive COVID cases in the Fnatic camp that have left them unable to field a team. Today's match between Giants and FUT will therefore take place at 6 p.m. CEST. A revised date for Fnatic versus Koi will be shared as soon as possible. We wish all of the Fnatic players a speedy recovery and apologize to the fans for the inconvenience caused by the change in schedule, but you will see this game happen sometimes later in the season. But let's talk about the game for today, of course. That is Giants versus FUT.
Arkadaşlar ben FUT Esports'un VALORANT oyuncusu Ata Kaptan. Biz nasıl başladı? İlk maç Heretics maçıydı. Bizim için iyi oldu. İlk maç işte hem sahne heyecanını üstümüzden attık hem de 2-0 çok temiz bir galibiyetle başladık. Herkese bir özgüven geldi. Takım içinde hava böyle şenlik var. İlk hafta bizim için güzeldi. Liquid maçında 1-0'dan 2-1 yenildik. Ya açıkçası bu bizi pek üzmedi. Çünkü daha yeni başlamıştı. 1-1'dik. İyi gidiyorduk. Moralimiz falan bozulmadı. Bizi pek etkilemedi. Bu mentalle zaten Vitality maçına çok sağlam hazırlandık. Vitality'yi de yani beklediğimiz sonuçta açıkçası. 2-0 yendik. Vitality 2'de 2 gidiyordu. Ligde çok iyi görünüyordu ama onları yeneceğimizden çok emindik. Saçlarımı bir Eray abiyle iddiaya girmiştik. O yüzden kestim. Eray abiyle beraber kestik hatta. Heretics maçını kazanınca kivi sakallarını kesmişti. Ben de Eray abiyle öyle ortaya bir iddia attım. Dedim ki Vitality maçını 2-0 yenersek kapıyı 3'e vuruyor muyuz falan dedi. O da tamam dedi, ben zaten yapıyorum dedi yani. Vitality maçını 2-0 yendik, eve geldik. Hadi iddia bu falan filan dedi. Kameralara oynadım dedi, hadi yapalım dedi. Bir anda kapıyı 3'e vurdu. Takımdaki genel hava şu an iyi. Herkes pozitif. Hepimizin enerjisi yüksek. Güzel ilerliyoruz ligde. Hedefimiz tabii ki de playoff oynayıp Tokyo'ya gitmek. Bunun üzerine her hafta üstümüze ekleye çalışıyoruz. Başaracağımıza da inanıyoruz. Takımın havası çok yüksek. Performansım nasıl? İlk 2 hafta güzel performans sergiledim. Brezilya'dan sonra sağlam çalıştım.
Player spotted. Oh, close to the corner. That is really good discipline. No!
Arkası dönük adamlara çok fazla sıktım bu aralar. Yani eğimim alışık. Arkası dönük gördüğüm her adamı artık vurabiliyorum. Bu da bizi ileriye taşıyor. Performansı bu yüzden attığını düşünüyorum. Arkası dönek adam bundan sonra gözümde ölüdür. Buradan biz destekleyen bütün taraftarlarımıza kucak dolusu sevgiler ve kucak dolusu öpücükler gönderiyorum. Hepsini çok seviyorum. Bizi desteklemeyi unutmayın. Desteklerinizi esirgemeyin. Bu takım Masters Tokyo'ya gidecek buradan. Unutmayın. Buralısınız. Kalbimizdesiniz. FUT win, let's go.
Oh, Atta, I feel like we need to blow one back. Seni çok seviyorum, Atta. But you can see that they are giving the Turkish fans something to be happy about,
Yes.
something to be excited about. And I said this in the past, maybe it was a bit of an overstatement, but at this point, I truly do believe that this might be the second or third best team we have in the entire league.
Okay, you know, I like what you're saying. I like the hope. I think that what we're seeing on the server definitely points in that direction of, you know, them not overheating, actually playing to the best of their game and actually being a surprise to many people here. But they still have to go against the big two titans still of the competition. Then we'll see.
I wanted to touch a little bit about the fact that you think that they are the second or the third best in our region, because the thing is, FUT, in my eyes, really progressed when it comes to the fundamental level of Valorant. There's nothing complicated in the gameplay, they just play nicely as a team on the basic level, and it showcases something that I was wondering for the longest time, that if a team doesn't skip the basics into the more complicated strats, they're gonna win most of their matches, and FUT is just like an example of that. So is it kind of damning to say that, because then it showcases that the other teams in our region don't have a good fundamental Valorant?
I mean, some of them don't. Let's not
Well,
not
yeah.
lie about it. Some of them just don't right now. But you guys heard about Atta talking about the atmosphere in the team. But let's take a look at some of the comms and the celebrations they've had when they faced against their previous opponents. Here we can take a quick listen. There's a lot of nice. That's what I picked up on.
I mean, definitely with the performance, especially when we're taking a look at Lotus and what they've been showcasing, I would be pretty happy too.
Is there a word for nice in Turkish that is not nice?
I think there is, but they just say nice, which I really love. And you can see how much energy Atta Captain brings as well. Kiwi called him the Joker of the team, meaning that he's flexible, he can do everything. And he also said that bringing in Atta Lothar has made a massive difference to their performance, and I think he's right about that.
I mean, he's had some really crazy matches. Not only that, I feel like he actually performs well on like his own, in his own circle, in his own bubble. And when I say this, I'm not saying, it's not pejorative, it's actually positive. He knows how to utilize his own agent to his benefit. And it's great to see a player who is not only flexible, but also very efficient, the way that he plays with the utility for himself.
There are two keys here for me. One, the fact that FUT has decided to just play with 5 players, to stop with the 6-man roster and just, you know, making Atta part of the team permanently because of the performance that he's been having, the flexibility. And I think that we saw it the other day on Ascent when he was playing the race. He still used the utility as conventionally as a controller would use it, for example, and it was beautiful to watch.
Well, I'm going to give you a third key, Kiwi. And
Okay.
Kiwi, if we take a look at the top 5 players according to First Blood percentage here, I am pretty sure that Kiwi is going to be in there. He's going to be up there. And so
Oh
is
my God.
Fatinho. Bea, both of the players that's going to be going up against each other today.
Yeah, definitely. Both fulfilling that role, the going on the jet, the taking those early duels. I think that just because of this table, we might be looking at the best game of this week.
Oh,
I mean,
for
that's
sure,
That's
for
to say
sure,
the
for
least.
sure.
That's to
Yeah.
say the least. But I think it's really interesting and probably is something that some people didn't. It's overlooked sometimes.
I mean, I don't know, I'm still baffled by how the giga gap exists between Durka and everyone else. It's 8% of a difference. When you just take a look at the numbers, he has like 54 first bloods and 28 first deaths. It's unreal, the level of performance and the amount of success that he gets with that first initial duel.
I wonder about Fatinho as well, real quick, because obviously he's going to be facing up against FUT. And Bea, as you said before, back in the days in Spain, we had this kind of Tenzin friends feeling when it comes to Fitty. And Nukia even admitted that he thinks that Fitty is the carry of this team right now.
I mean, definitely, and it's not only because of what we see here. I think it's because you need to understand that stat is also counting the fact that they've lost 2 matches against Fnatic and against Navi that might have, been a detriment to that number. But Fatinho is probably now on that stake of getting to be the best player from Spain, and according to his teammates, he definitely is.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of hard hard to admit to that when you have Nokia in your team. Nokia for the longest time, at least in my eyes, was the most consistent player in our region. And I would say that he still is that, but he kind of gives the spotlight to other players.
He's grown as a person. I'm
yeah,
telling you. I'm
that
telling
wasn't
you.
the case before. Let's not
We
kid
love to
ourselves.
see it, though. We love
Yeah.
to see it. But the map beta is going to be very interesting today. We're going to head there a little bit earlier because there's a lot to talk about. As you guys can see earlier, the captain and the coach of each team, they came together to do a coin flip there and then
the
to
coin
select
toss.
Giants
the
won.
map vetoes on their iPads. Honestly, I'm just surprised that nobody ever misclicks. But Fracture being taken away
Ooh.
is nothing new.
I
Right.
love the fact that Pipson sees Fracture taken away and he smiles. He's going to go for Haven because he won the coin toss and he said, yeah, I want to be Team B. Now, what is going to happen
Lotus?
with
No, not Lotus. Icebox.
Okay, it's going to be Icebox. Definitely interesting. We were talking about the impact that the Jet is going to have for both of these teams. No better ground to test it now that Breeze is not here to do it on Icebox. And
Gaius' little giggle as well. I'm just watching
I think they're
his
just
reaction.
giving it back. They're just giving it back because you need to have an attitude when you're doing it face to face.
I mean, Pipson is fully dialed in with the concentration, a split being selected, and Gaius is just giggling there with Mr. Farland.
I think Pipson inside of his body, he's just like laughing after
they
seeing the
banned
first pick,
Lotus.
you know?
Yeah, Lotus is not going to come up. That is FUT's best map, probably
Yeah.
the best team on this map so far we've seen, and Decider
mean-
will be Ascent.
Yeah, but you know, it's gonna. But I understand that Giants does not feel comfortable enough. For you know, left that window. You say that they're the best team, but you know, Giants is coming from a 13-1 win.
Bayer, this team have not lost on Lotus, and they beat
why-
100 Thieves.
Why on
They
earth
are
they
the
picking
best Lotus
Icebox
team.
first, right?
I have to fight for
needed
this
to see-
every week, guys.
we
Like,
needed-
FUT are the best Lotus team, and if anyone wants to fight me on that, I invite you because I will fight back hard with stats
Statistically
and
speaking, you
proof.
have the proof on your side
Yes.
here with this argument.
Yes.
So I don't think there's a counter argument. That's why I'm so surprised. Like, and I think we can even say anything apart from just asking the team to understand their reasoning, because there is something behind this. If they win, I would love to ask that in the post plant, because there has to be specific reason to pick up Icebox over Lotus.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
speaking
what I
of
mean.
Icebox, I think you want to go over there, Lothar, and show us what we can expect
Yeah,
on map
I'm-
1, because
I'm taking
this
Kabuko.
is
Okay.
FUT's pick. They wanted to go here first, so
Instead of Lotus.
yeah. So let's take a look at some of the more historical stuff that you guys have gathered.
Yeah, we have a small heat map
stay here.
prepared for two teams, for both teams, I mean, for FUT and Giants. It's gonna be an Icebox heat map that are gonna be shown in a moment here. So this is actually the defensive tendencies of both teams that are not exactly correlated. So let me put a little bit of context here. This on the left side is FUT. It's the first 10 seconds of the defense, and this is Giants every round of
Movement.
defense in the entirety of it. So first, I wanted to point out, Kabuka,
Yes.
look at this mid area.
On the left side. Yeah.
In mid, we have Killjoy right here every single round. What do you think Giants can do about that?
I mean, I think it's very funny because the pink dots that we see on the screen are actually the alarm buttons. And you see
Yes.
that is definitely one, sometimes it's going to be in kitchen. Most of the times it's going to be, you know, that Killjoy pushing a little
There's
bit.
like 6 of them here.
And just putting the alarm button. But it's very funny because this just derives of what default they're using. Is Killjoy playing on B? Or is Harbor playing on B? When Harbor's playing on B, Killjoy will be playing towards this mid side, and that's the reason why she would use this alarm button. Otherwise, if she's playing from kitchen, she will be using this one.
If Giants want to counter the opposing team, there's a very high chance we're gonna see players being either super passive in the mid area to wait for the Killjoy to peek here to set up the alarm bot and get that first blood, or we're gonna see aggressive pushes towards this this boiler area, under boiler area, to punish her position in the opening of the round. But
Wait,
yeah.
the last thing, this blue, light blue, this is Kiwi. He loves to play around yellow there with the operator. Remember that this is the defense, and he always tries to get the impact from here. So this is definitely a fighting point that we're going to see at the beginning.
Yeah, but now let's jump to Giants. And during their defense, there's something very specific about it. You don't see a lot of movement on the other side of the map. There's not many flanks happening. What do you think that is?
I mean, they rely a lot on what they do over the side. They just want to take the fights. They don't want to be over aggressive. They don't want to push. Maybe they don't feel comfortable enough doing so, or they don't trust enough the information that they gather.
I think that might be something that FUT actually will also use against Giants in this case, because they're able to put less focus on the flanks, right? And
Yeah.
then have a bigger effort on the actual execute.
I have to say that since Nuki is playing on the Killjoy and Cloud is playing on the Sova, this ground for them becomes extra important just because of the good usage of utility that they're trying to have.
All right.
Well, I cannot wait to see what both of these teams are going to do on Icebox. But before that, let's take a look at what the players from Giants had to say about their season so far.
Let's talk about what this means for Giants. I think coming into the series, they did have difficult opponents in week 1, but theoretically, things get easier over the coming weeks. So this is where we retest their power.
We need to play the most quality game we can play. If we play the quality game, we win. If we don't play the quality game, we lose.
Давай. I think the hardest match was against Fnatic. We didn't perform and we didn't play that good on the first map.
I was like super mad and angry on our like own performance, how we played against Fnatic. We didn't show our game at all, and that's why I was not tilted. I was mad, just mad.
For the second match, it's sad. It ended in a sad way. I think we should have had 2-0 there.
We will do way more faster rounds. We will not play PZ slow. And these guys will probably think, they're playing super slow and super wide people. No, we will not.
We come here to play.
That was fine game.
We come here to play.
One round,
on overtime, down for retake. That when you picked all.
Losing against Navi was not fun.
Have to win Pearl in any case. You know why? We lost 4 acres. Four.
The other teams, I mean, everyone looked pretty decent.
I actually didn't think that EMEA will be on that level, because every team is playing like super close to each other.
I don't know what to expect, honestly. I think we play against 2 of the strongest teams and we learn a lot, so I think we are gonna go pretty strong.
And being with the team, I think it's always good. It's something with the team spirit that just gets boosted when you are together.
It's always nice for me. I love to play with my team close to me, and for now it's really funny.
Dodge, bro, dodge.
Moving to Berlin, I mean, everything was fine. It's just Berlin. It's so gray, I don't know, rainy, the weather is cold.
Moving to Berlin, I think it's pretty similar to where I'm from, or where I live, I mean. I'm from Oslo, Norway, so I think Berlin is pretty similar.
Not a big change. I mean, I'm doing the same that I'm doing in my house, so.
FUT Esports.
Trying to push to the top of the pack, think that stop, yeah, never that. Trying to get to the top of my game. I don't want to hear no talk from lanes. I don't want to do it if there's not no gain. Them man are lacking cause them man don't train. Hey, I can't accept one loss, never that. Trying to be something I'm not.
Giants Gaming.
Well, this is going to be a very, very important match for this week. Once we get a little bit later on in the season, this could be the one that determines seeding, determines if one of these teams even make it to playoffs. Of course, I think the tiebreaker is down to head-to-head. So both teams, they are going to want to win this game. You guys broke down Icebox beautifully on what we can expect, but does one team, in your opinion, necessarily have the upper hand? Do you understand why FUT chose this?
I mean, this is a map that they've chosen before, and especially against Koi, knowing the composition that they were using and, you know, bringing some swaps in, they definitely rely and learn something from that. Also, they have a couple of samples of what Giants is doing here, maybe not so much on that Lotus side. So I understand that they want to go to this Icebox. I still think if we make it to Ascent, it's not going to be so easy for them.
I'll be honest with you, like the way that they play Icebox, the harbor pick is a very interesting one. I mean, the fade is something that you're not really prepared for at all, right, when you play against it.
Yeah, but I think it's also easy to spot, you know, where she's using the utility, where you have to be depending on. I also think that, you know, we did all that breakdown, and that was mostly against Koi. And Koi is a team that, you know, they decided to play without a duelist. So is that threat that you don't have to be aware of. But of course, we mentioned the duelist here, we mentioned the Jets, and it has to be both the moment to shine.
Well, this is Agent Select, of course, but they rolled out the Harbor last time. Both Kiwi and Fitish are expected to play Jet, so at least that's one constant we have, and it looks like they are going to stick to that fade call.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I actually do think, if it's executed perfectly, Fade is one of the most impactful initiators in the game. Specifically, ultimates, when the prowlers are available, is just so hard to stop, so it opens up the entire B backside as well. But it's a composition that you are not accustomed to play against, Alex.
Yeah, and also on the Giant side, we see that Sage is there, that it's going to be there. It's not going to be just what you were mentioning, Yinsu. There's the Harbor on the other side, so there's this extra need of taking space that they make Fade not as good. I think that KU will be much more effective knowing that you're playing against a Jet that is going to be fighting and being aggressive for that space. Getting those, not up, because you don't only need to get the early side, you need to even go further if you want to have a safe plant for that spike. I think that for Giants, it's all about preventing that because it's not going to be easy for them.
Let's not forget the Harbor Viper comp into non-Harbor Viper comps. The win rate is not that great. It's actually a lot less than what we think it is right now, Lothar. So I'm excited
I'll be honest
to
with
see.
you, I take those numbers with a grain of salt. It's very similar to Gecko. I think it's very unrefined, so it's kind of hard to judge it.
Well, we see if they are able to pull this one out as we throw this over to your casters. It is Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Yinsu. We're excited. Both teams on a 2-win streak, looking hot. The fans are getting their teeth into this game as well, and could be high stakes. What an exciting game we've got in front of us.
Yeah, no, it's a matchup I think that I'm really excited for. Both teams with the opportunity to sort of move their way up, get themselves closer into towards
¿Cómo vas a decir eso? Giants es mucho mejor que FUT. Giants tiene a Fitiño. Giants
What's going on?
tiene también a Cloud. Es imposible
I'm literally so confused.
Es totalmente imposible que Giants no gane este partido. Porque Giants es mucho
No, I think
mejor.
we're in the right place. These guys are in. Guys,
we're gonna have to ask you guys to get out of here. I know, but we got games to do. Watch your cable. It's gonna trip you up, man. Get out of here. All right. Well, as I said, the fans pretty passionate. The casters too. We've just had I guess that's why we got different shuttles here today. Makes sense now in hindsight.
Yeah, I'm a little bit lost, I'll be honest with you, but in case you didn't know, there might be a little bit of a rivalry between these two teams. We've got, obviously, FUT facing off against Giants. We've got the Spanish casters here. We've got the Turkish casters here. It's going to be a shouting match between the two booths, and honestly, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, and especially with the map pool. I sort of started off today, and I was looking at it going, okay, who's going to be the team to ban Fracture? Both these teams had it pretty much as a permaban. Giants have tried to float it a little bit, and FUT were the ones who bit the bullet. And that, for me, gives the map pool, or gives the strength within this veto over to the side of Giants. And looking at the first couple of maps, they're going into Icebox, a map that, at least after getting rid of their Sageless comp, looked pretty decent. They also played against Fnatic. I can forgive a team to losing to Fnatic on Icebox. It's something that not many more will have to suffer through as the map disappears from the pool. But then also going into Split, where they looked very good, played very close versus teams like Na'Vi and Fnatic. So I think that they're going to be very happy with the initial maps in this pool. And it's going to be another point, as it has been throughout the season, of going, okay, FUT, prove it to us again that you're one of the teams that are fighting for the very, very top.
Yeah, they have to keep on putting it down, but look, the results have been good. They've been inspiring so far, and as I said, both of these teams are coming into this game, a game that could very well define whether they make it to playoffs or not further down the line when it comes to head-to-heads. This is a game where they're both on a 2-win streak as well. They're hitting their stride, they're on form, but only one team can keep that streak going. And it really is anyone's guess. But looking at that veto, I have to say, I'm steering more away from FUT than I was when I came into today, for sure.
Yeah, that's fair as well. I also think there is still a part of me that believes that a lot of people are underrating Giants. I think that FUT are now starting to get the plaudits they deserve for coming into this season. Many expected them to be near the bottom, let's be brutally honest. They're definitely nowhere near that form. But for Giants, they've lost to Fnatic and Na'Vi, the two teams that we expected to be #1 and #2. So now they come in and go, okay, if we win this game, people are going to start looking into us, start having faith in us again, and I think that this might be the time where they do it.
Well, we're about to dive on into Icebox, just a few seconds before those barriers go up, and we'll see Futbolists mount the attack. We saw in the interview from Giants, Ryan was saying no more slow play. Now they're going to take the fight to them, and well, they certainly started out with a bit of aggression around Pipes control. They're going to continue it, and that's when Vitinho loses his life.
Yeah, an aggressive start, something we kind of expected. I think Durka proved quite well versus the Harbor comps that if you just play through the Harbor utility, it could be quite easy to find the early fights. Instead, though, this has become a little bit awkward. Rhyme's wall being broken, the Prowlers being sent through, and the Spam doing a decent amount of damage, but they have at least delayed FUT.
Yeah, and Maj is on a sliver of health at this point. Shock darts are fired out, and they're finding their mark for a little bit. Perhaps not the corner, I think, saved out of Captain in that one. But it comes into a stalemate in this late round. Futbolists still have no intention of abandoning the site that they've already begun to take off. They're looking to finish off this push, and the man that stopped them before was Rhyme. He had an ice wall. This time, no wall to play with. He's got up top revealed and sprayed down. A big loss for Giants, a great recovery for Cloud. One more coming around the corner. Now it's support, and they'll win that fight, and another Futbolist bouncing back into that one, but it came very close. Look at the HP on some of these players.
Yeah, it seemed like for a moment Cloud was just going to do what he's been doing all season and just basically pop off. And in fact, when you look back to some of their previous results on this map, he had an absurd performance versus BBL. In fact, one of the main reasons they were actually able to get this over the line. So definitely a player to watch, someone who's been fantastic on Sova for a while. But I do quite like this, just almost the re-hit coming in from FUT. It's something that I've enjoyed a lot about this team in terms of Turkish rosters, because a lot of the time we talk about Turkish rosters in the past being blitz teams, talk about Supermassive Blaze of old, where it would just be run in and fight. They haven't been like that. They are very happy to slow the pace, calm things down, and re-hit later in the round.
And you saw that in the first round. Even, okay, Ryan, that's a decent start. Classic kill, spike dropped. You just don't have the hardware to compete for that angle, though, once it really comes down to an aim duel. In this round, you got to rely on the surprise factor, catching them out, whether it's a good shot and you fade away, or whether it's the numbers that are a little bit too great for them to deal with when they eventually push. And Futbolists, they pressured A, they've fallen back. They're looking for the B site, full control granted to them because of the stack up. And, you know, Giants are making it here. The timing could be sublime. It is. Hoodie's got another. That could be a weapon. It might have fallen down. But even still, a 4v3 now.
It's also in a spot that's very awkward to retrieve for their opponents. Never mind. Hoodie has been able to spam through and find another kill. 2 remaining. Bulldog retrieved. He can joggle that over onto Rhyme, who's full HP. This is a lot now for them to do. Cracks trying to play for a more aggressive angle, try and set up his teammate for a swing. And they will even things up, in fact. A double coming through for Ada Captain.
Really well handled. Snake bites causing so much problem as well. Look at this double swing around the box. They know that no one's on the spike. They've got time. A little bit of an over-aggressive swing from out of Captain. Bulldog up close. Defuse underway. Half already. There's the kill, but he's got to follow through. And up close, Nukia's won it. Giants have fought back into this, and with just enough time, pulled out that first round on the board for them. Like, for Futbolists, I can't even fathom how that went so wrong.
Yeah, and again, it puts a spotlight on another player I think that needs to be sort of talked about. In the first couple of weeks versus, I guess, the big boys, Hoodie kind of struggled a bit. Like, he didn't look his best. Last week, he looked impeccable, and today already, getting them a huge round. That was mostly off his timing with the Sheriff, being able to catch players off guard, and to sort of quell that early economy boost of FUT is massive. Just look at how much cash there's already on the Giants side.
And Giants are used to being on the receiving end of those ecos. I'm sure it feels good to be able to bounce back now and already start this game strong with an element of play that cost them so much previously.
I will say I really do enjoy watching FUT play this map with this comp. I think that Harbor being able to section off angles with those cascades is really fun. It just works for taking that space, but then they've combined it with the Prowlers. The Prowlers to clear so many aggressive spots. It's something that you basically have to do to counter Harbor, is push through the util, well, if there's a Prowler on the other side, you can get that info.
Now, there was big damage done here. Not just to Hoodie, but he delivered it as well. Thing is, what he's up against, you know, he can't afford to go down. And luckily, he's got a heal. Just popped up, so he's up to 100 again. Just the shields lost. Snakebite fired out at the perfect time as well. Kiwi was just about to attempt to play, and instead, very much neutered on that. That stopped the push of Footballist altogether. And being sprayed through the smoke. Hoodie still wasn't spotted. And when he eventually shows himself, it's to take 9 HP away from the Aces. Well, he's caught changing. Oh, would have been good for him. But either way, you know, he's pretty close to his Viper's Pit. I think he can have a smile on his face. If he hasn't got it.
Technically,
he's got it.
Either way, he got the orb.
There you go.
So there you go.
It's a win-win.
Being shot in the head did get in the orb. I don't think he needed it. No, he already had Viper's Pit.
Yeah,
there was no value in that at all. But hey, it's still a good round from him. Again, stepping up to the plate early. Viper's Pit going to be in as we finally see FUT now get onto a purchase of their own. Now, they do already have a Bladestorm. By the looks of it, though, in this Logitech G power-up round, they're actually going to not use it, at least initially. It's going to be the rifle coming through for Kiwi. By the looks of it, he's solo, just looking to take space over towards B.
Very aggressive play out of him. They're still following through with the same thing. You got your wave, and you've got your Prowler following it up. B main control is theirs. They've got mid locked down by a Harbor Lurk, and obviously that was the player that threw at the utility to help them get all this control on A. Very good early round, and I think if Giants were trying to follow through with what we heard from them in that interview or in that content piece where Ryan said we're not going to play that slow anymore, well, if they did decide to play faster here, they would have been destroyed.
I think they've just had to drone mid because of that initial use of the Cove to smoke things off and just go, there's now doubt in your mind.
Yep.
You don't know if we've managed to cross over that position initially. It's nice ideas from FUT. It hasn't benefited them massively, but it's still got rid of a few pieces of utility on the other side.
Viper wall already used here, so this Harbor, it's all they've got to make their way through, and that wall ain't going to last too much longer.
They also don't have a Cove anymore.
Yeah.
So spam is going to be a big issue for them. But I was going to say they get it down, but they don't. Rhyme just before Mr. Farling gets the plant is going to drop him, and this is always where these rounds get very, very awkward.
Yeah, and the big problem being you've got that orb down on the site now. There goes the Viper's Pit as well, so even more to fight back through. Now, they've got the spike, but 20 seconds left. Committing to a plant here seems to be the only move, and they've lost another spike carrier. A second player attempting to bring it to site. Here's your third, and he meets the same fate. Cloud locking it down with Giants steaming into the lead. They lost the pistol here, but certainly doesn't look like it.
I love the idea of just, if that Viper's Pit is perfectly laid out as they wanted it to, it leaves a tiny gap to plant, so you go, this isn't in the pit. I'll plant outside the pit, and every player just spams onto that angle. Nice stuff coming out. And this is the thing, it's like, when you look at the side of Giants, okay, they sort of get bamboozled a little bit by some of the early utility, but you're seeing the same sort of value of like, okay, if you use a Sage Wall early on the attack side, you lose those few seconds of defensive protection. And ultimately, that's what ends up dropping that spike on the ground and the round falling away from them.
Now, there's a lot of conditioning going on A here. It's a lot of rounds they're not even following up necessarily. Like, that utility is being used to deny. Great stuff from Kiwi. The thing is, eventually, they're going to have a play that pivots on the back of that. That's whether it's a quick play, I don't know what they're planning. But this is it's working very well as a round-to-round, start-of-round piece of utility that they throw out to deny control. I will keep an eye on how it develops. You've seen the Viper wall go back towards B this round as well. No surprise with what happened previously. Good trade back here. Damage was done, but Fatinho still holding strong. 40 HP, and he got those last two. This is very winnable.
Yeah, this is starting to fall apart. Kiwi not going to manage to land the shot. Mr. Farlin, if he can get a plant here, it's actually going to get him Reckoning online. Maybe garner him a little bit of extra space, but I think he's wary of these players sort of pushing him from behind, wanting to get a better after plant position, wanting to make sure that he can plant safely, and not wanting to be spammed by Nuke, who is a master at spamming through that wall.
Here they come.
Spike planted.
Really being cautious on their way through. There's the peek from Nuke, and that's all that was needed. You know, I kind of thought they were waiting a minute to go together. He got itchy feet, went straight through. And that's it, capitalized on. Giants with another round, and we could talk about the economic impact of losing the 3 players, but it's not that great. They're in a comfortable enough spot. I think Footballists have done well to deal damage, to make it a promising round despite not having that much to work with. But here's where they've got to do it again.
That's the thing, though. It's a round where, because of that opening kill, they actually had 2 other ults online already, and that was the Viper's Pit and a Nightfall. which if they get into an afterplant there, I think they win that round. So Fitinho actually getting that triple kill, first 3 kills he's had so far in the server, that's one of those things where it's like, I feel like if that doesn't happen, they actually have a decent chance to win the round. Nonetheless, 4 rounds already on this defensive side for Giants, looking pretty strong. And again, we're going to see the same usage of that Cove to try and section off mid. It's being instantly destroyed by Cloud, but again, it's still just that extra little bit of doubts in the mind. We'll have to see if that's going to impact them again later in the round where they don't have anything to help them plant.
Well, this round, I think early was looking more towards A. You saw the 3 players stack up. They were a bit slow. You know, that first wall that went out was just supposed to keep them back from any sort of aggression. Spike was solo watching for the push-up. But now they're grouping and certainly showing more intention to take things around this angle. They've spotted Ryan. The wall will go up. There's no panic yet for Giants. They've got a player up top who's ready. Fitinho's not a great, but like the weaponry he has isn't fantastic for that kind of fight if they do come flooding in. But he might be able to get a sneaky pick depending on his timing. He was a second, maybe 2 late on going for that swing, but he has
Still
got the info
though.
that there's no one A.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're already starting their rotation back. Again, they're going into a B site, not having that Cove available. Nightfall going to be used to try and force some of these players back. Prowler saved as well, just to try and make sure they're under serious pressure. But there's 30 seconds left. Now the Reckoning's going to be used on that cross. They are spamming these ultimates just to try and get themselves into an afterplant position, and instead, again, it's going to be denied. I feel like they're going to have to start holding on to this Cove. They are being slaughtered as they try and enter into the site. That is a double ultimate take, and they don't even do any damage.
I think his reveal before as well, like 20 seconds beforehand, had spotted them all, bar one who was seen in a fight seconds later. So he just had all the information there. They're going for the plant. It's the right time to pop that Hunter's Fury, but the damage done by Cloud there was massive. He caught 2 kills with that, and I think even a little bit of damage as well. Look at this, just follow. So he did catch him that with the first burst, and then reveals him so he can see him running away. I was wondering how he was so precise on the second kill, or whether it was just luck. 5-1 though, anything but a lucky start for Giants. They have come prepared to Icebox.
Yeah, I think a very good time to take a pause as well. Like if you try and sort of fake out some initial control into A, you then have a double ultimate take of a Nightfall and a Reckoning, and you don't even get any kills, and you don't get into an afterplant, that's definitely problematic. Now, I do think if you're going to start using that Cove early, a lot of the time you're going to want to try and head into the A site, especially with those 2 ultimates. Like, those are very strong ults for A site take, so clearly just being denied that initial space by the wall was something that made footballers believe, okay, we can now head back into the other side of the map. But they were read hard. Just that peek, as you mentioned, from Fitinho gave all the information needed to Giants, and that's something they have to deny. And they have a lot of utility to stop a player being in that position. So I feel like maybe just spending a bit more time to push players back on A before trying to fake things out on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the intention was from round start, but they definitely looked a lot less pacey towards the A main take, and certainly more than they will now. You see the players actually stood there. This time a difference, the wall going towards B, that's robbing a lot of information out of their hands. Good adaptation from Rhyme to push through. It's a risk. He's even popped a wall there as well, and locking them into just one angle. Really interesting early round. I think that pressure was not expected to be coming out at Footballist on that side of the map in that way, but that drone they just put through spotted at least 2, and the Spike as well, sitting outside of A.
Worry is the space that's been taken. This is the first time we've seen a proper push from FUT into mid. Dart as well going to be shot. Timing here is going to be absolutely everything. A free kill! He's actually going to get both! That captain was waiting, watching from behind, and now it's just a one-pronged push straight in towards this side. It's the ball. It's just gliding across. 1 kill at least, but wow, I don't think they're getting anything more. This is looking squeaky clean from Giants at the moment, and this is where you have to hope that pause came in and made a difference as the buy is going to come through.
I was playing with one of my buddies who hasn't played for a while, and we were playing Icebox, and he lost his mind. He's like, why is everyone just shooting from ropes these days, man? And how is it so accurate? It's like, yeah, that's it's a feature. It's a feature, especially with the Sheriffs. You hit a surprising amount of those first bullets. But 6-1 right now. Yeah, Giants looking unreal. Confidence high. Ult's in their favor as well. And with the barriers going up here, I really want to see footballers have a response. And this A site, consistently, you know, they're attempting to take this space, but the building blocks just don't seem to line up. And again, Cloud's same play as last time, goes in, breaks the reveal, and footballers are slowed down a lot by this. Again, worried about anybody pushing up or any of the aggression, but they've got 4 players here, Tom. So it's impressive that one bullet from a Classic can delay them by that much.
Drone, is it going to spot anyone? No, I don't think it managed to get past, and that's going to almost fake out that there might not be as many players here as expected. A deep push coming in on B, though, is going to be so much information. Mr. Fallen maybe close to losing his life. I don't think he even realizes that Rhyme is just waiting on the other side. A free B kill to start, but it also clears up the fact that this B site is completely clear.
Wow, here comes the lockdown into play. Giants really looking to make this an uncomfortable round. 50 seconds on the clock. They were trying to push forward. They go backwards, and well, they ran into that defense.
Oh no.
With a lockdown eventually coming to fruition. Kiwi has nowhere to go, and they're on the hunt. They're chasing him down. He might get his weapon back out. It comes down to timing. They might have heard him. There it is. Now they know, they realize, see the timing, the second that he is back in the round, they're running backwards. They're not looking to overcommit.
They even res, as if it wasn't bad enough for Kiwi. It's Kiwi alive. It's Kiwi alive, so let's make sure. Let's just confirm this round. Also, I think Rhyme, it's going to have the res back in a decent amount of time with how things have been going so far. And eventually, Kiwi just has to make the decision of almost just holding on to the gun. These rounds have been just...
10 seconds left.
I don't want to say it, but easy. Like, Giants haven't really had to break a sweat. The initial pressure hasn't been working out for them. They haven't been overfacing. They haven't been given a lot of those early fights. And I feel like their ultimate usage has been sublime. Like, every single one has had really high impact. Again, though, it comes down to just having an all-in take almost on one side of the map, and Giants just going, okay, we're just going to take control on half. Either it's been deep A pressure, or in this round, deep B pressure all the way to the point where they kill off the lurk.
It's really impressive to watch just how they maintain the control and more so their composure in these moments where footballers are throwing out those weird plays. I especially love their B main play that's consistently coming out from Rhyme with support. It's not always the same player that's there with him, but he was able to get up and get very aggressive with those walls, block off a lot of control, and the pushes haven't come through there, but the information has been key in denying some of the info on the other side. Vitinho starts this one out well. Another just great early round, and this is more basic. It's just Vitinho goes, gets a kill, dashes out, and now they're in trouble again.
Yeah, lockdown with no counter. They used it in the last round, almost an immediate kill. We're going to see the high tide out afterwards to at least give them that little bit of space, but Giants are more than happy to play the retake. Viper's Pit thrown in. This is now a heavy, heavy investment from Footballist and a must-win round.
That's half his HP. I mean, out of Captain, half what he had left, I should say. Great shock dart that was thrown through from Cloud. He's always been a menace when it comes to that, and even more so now with the drone going through. It spotted one, but it was Jet. Not going to cause too many problems. Viper, out of Captain, spotted. He's running away. They know now that there's no Viper inside the pit. Seconds before it falls, and they've caught him. Hoodie was waiting on the other side, allowing him to run back for the post-plan setup right into him. Just gorgeous. I'm enjoying every second of Giants gameplay here. Masterfully engineered, it has to be said.
It is squeaky clean from them. And again, you have to bear in mind that this is the map pick of FUT. I said this to you. When the veto came through, I was like, there were a few things I thought were guaranteed. One of these teams is going to ban Fracture, because neither of them want to be playing it. My other guarantee was that I thought FUT would pick Lotus. Because it's a map that this year they're 5-0 on. They've looked phenomenal. They've had some incredibly clean takes. Everybody looks like they enjoy the map. And instead they went for Icebox, which I don't think has been a bad map for them, but they have one win versus Koi. And a lot of that was off Kiwi just having an unbelievable performance. While right now, he's top of his team, but that's not saying much.
Like Mel was showing us just there, it's sometimes not about where you're at right now. It's about the climb. Right. And I think we're seeing that for Footballists as they attempt to climb out of this pit, starting to look like a Christian Bale movie. I think for Giants, yeah, they cannot put a foot wrong. It doesn't seem to matter who's getting that initial contact. This time around, there are weaknesses there. But even still, it hasn't seemed to make a difference.
This is the thing, when Yuka gets into this mode of just confidence, you've already lost the game.
Stop peeking it out.
Like you can just see him, he's gonna go back for more. Because right now, that man believes there is nobody on the planet that can kill him. So it's already a terrifying prospect, and you can just see the map control that's being taken. A dry peek out into a classic operator angle. Kiwi at least has managed to find one, but I said it, eventually he's going to go back for more, and he gets the kill.
He goes pushing down through tube eventually. Like, you won't peek me? Fine, I'll do it myself. Well, here we go, sneaky angle, not expected. You already know it, Cloud is not walking away with the kill. That was Nukia stealing it from afar.
Just going back.
All right, then.
So, sorry, bro, this is my round. Mr. Fallen again. He's been last alive in quite a few rounds, spotted out by the turret as if he wasn't low HP enough. And, well, Cloud is going to go facing. A nice shot, but still an unlikely scenario revealed by the turret. And eventually, Hoodie is going to put him in his place. 9-1 on this defensive side. It is looking bleak for the FUT fans right now. And, well, they're at least going to have another purchase. They're at least going to have themselves a Blade Storm, but I feel like they have just been outplayed throughout the majority of this map so far.
It has to be said, man. I think, you know, looking at going into round number 11, the morale on FUT must be incredibly low. This is their map pick. And I said coming into today when we were talking backstage, you know, I think either Football is to big brain this. They've got crazy prep. They knew Giants would prep other maps, and they've come in big brain time. Or they made a massive mistake, and it's starting to seem like it's more so the latter. Again, this early pick from Fatinho, and it doesn't matter what part of the map he's on. He gets one, he gets out, and now they're set up to still stop this push with another annoying peek coming. Oh, okay, this time he's in trouble, but instead he goes forward with the shorty. That's cost him his life.
Yeah, still did a decent amount of damage, but you can just see that sheer confidence available. Now there's a decent ult online. You're going to see that Reckoning thrown through. They've got the Cove to get themselves into an afterplant. That's been one of the major issues so far for the side of FUT, is getting into an afterplant. So maybe once that post-plant begins, there'll be a possibility. Krax has been spotted up close, but he's going to win the duels initially. But the trades are coming back. And now Nukia, who's been on fire so far, tries to take them both. But it is Maj with an operator who wins the round.
He might have retrieved that one.
You know,
not sure that was a start around intention, but
I'd keep it, bro, honestly.
Who knows? After that, yeah, it's one of the few things that's worked for them, I'd say. 4 kills, very impressive stuff, recovering that round nicely, and it definitely does feel more like a round where Giants have gone a bit mental. They've let themselves run away with the fact that they are winning this game convincingly, gone out for some early retakes. Everyone was in individual fights. Everyone was a little bit overstepping, but so far they haven't been punished for that. You'll make those mistakes once. I don't think that'll happen again.
Get out of my way.
Instantly, Blade Storm popped. Kiwi obviously on the operator, so just being able to have that mix of weaponry. Now they have been caught by early picks coming out from Fatinho in so many different rounds. He's waiting again, just watching on that cross for anybody to take that initial fight, and you can bet he's not going to budge.
Oh, but he is going to miss. And a captain gets to stay alive a little bit longer. This could be huge, having their Viper still to push up to the backside. As they make their way in, his utility can survive late into the round. I think, where is his
Oh,
orb?
no, not again.
Might not even matter. Another Hunter's Fury, another connection. And that's a wide open angle. That's awkward. Hoodie's just gotten away with murder, and he's still alive up top. Traded out down below. He doesn't even need to die for it to happen. Oh, it's a disaster for Footballist. Everything falling apart. An attempt with a snake bite in. It's going to do damage, but he needs to get a shot off on him, and it ain't happening. 10 rounds at the half. Giants are dominating.
Yeah, and I feel like that was almost just the epitome of this game so far. Like, Hoodie might as well have shot off a flare to tell them where he was. Like, just into the air, here I am, guys, and just manages to still come out. He's 14-6 at the moment. This man, with I feel like it should almost just be, like, everybody else's Hunter's Fury is, like, 1 price, and then Cloud's is, like,
2
an
orbs
extra couple of orbs. Because
Nah,
it just
I
doesn't
didn't see that. Ah, come on now.
I told you. It's one of those things where when UK gets confident, it doesn't matter what agent he's playing, he's going to do things that he shouldn't be allowed to get away with. And he will get away with them. And we've seen that in multiple rounds. Do you remember him playing Viper on Lotus, where he was basically just wide swinging everything? He pushed out of his own Viper's pit, killed someone, and then tried to run back in, and then re-peaked with like 10 HP. We are in that mode again.
I'm just shocked that we had to replay that. You know, Zilv, you've been doing so well all season long.
Are you really gonna call him out?
You didn't expect Nuki to just zip along and start spraying people through smokes on a wire? Like, come on, man. It really is, though. I
love the idea that they're 10-2 up and Pipson still looks like he's giving them a bollocking. It's like
he doesn't know what way the score is. He thinks it's the other way around. It's like, guys, how are we losing these? I see you kill everyone. That's the one thing about Pipson, though. The thing I love about this guy, it does not matter. Like, listen, he'll sit back and go, that was good, that was good. You know, identify the good things. We'll keep doing those. His main concern, though, is why do we lose that one we lost?
Yeah.
Why do we not win that one? 5 players alive instead of 4. Why are you all making these silly mistakes? Because if you make that mistake in that clutch and you still win the round, you might make it again next week and you might not win the round that time. I think it's the right way to think.
I also wonder if he just like looks like that 24/7. He's like, guys, that was amazing. I love you all. Like it's not.
No,
I can't imagine him saying that.
I don't think Pipson says that all too often.
I'm so proud of you.
You did everything right, boys. Everything I taught you. Like maybe if they lift a trophy, but I have a feeling they'd be lifting it and he'd just be turned around going, round 6 though, dude. What were you thinking?
Do you know what I feel like? They'll win a trophy and he'll still look annoyed, but one single tear will just roll like a proud dad who he can't admit it. He can't admit it. That's how I imagine Pipson will be. It'll be a single tear. But yeah, I think like looking at this now, FUT going onto the defensive side, never really the strength of a lot of the Harbor comps either. A lot of the time it's the sort of sectioning off and how they manage to take control. I think it's going to be a rough one for them. And I also think that by the looks of it for now, they haven't really been able to school Giants with the sort of benefits of this comp. I think like a lot of what we talk about with Fade, for example, and even with Harbor, is you're able to section off map control and you're able to clear a lot of these angles. How many rounds did it look like someone just dry swung into an operator and got owned? Like, it feel like the value of the comp just wasn't there.
Struggle to think about what would have been said for footballists moving into this. They have to have had ideas picking this map. I think a lot of those ideas didn't work over on the attack. This time, though, on the defense, they've certainly got the right idea on where the push is coming through. All 5 players from Giants here, and they're meeting 4 on the other side. Footballists even throw out some early utility, quite passive, and that wall might make it seem like there's less players here than there are. I mean, now you know Fade is here as well as Harbor, so it really starts to set off alarm bells if you see anybody else, I'd say. There's Killjoy.
Yeah, they basically have information that there
4 players
is 4 players here, and even still, it looks like they're still trying to challenge into this one. Maybe just very confident in their ace I execute.
Yeah, it must be, and maybe it's better to commit to this than go all the way back and play that late round, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Cracks cracking him up, but Hoodie, he's got a chance for the team. Everybody's low. He's up top, dropping, spraying away. Maju's gone, and it's down to the 1v1. Kiwi absolutely miles away. And from the clutches of defeat, they have somehow managed to fight back into this one. Hoodie has no idea, though. Yeah. Absolutely none on where Kiwi is. But the same can be said on the other side. Hoodie had enough time to run around to B if he wanted.
He is convinced that he's coming from the flank. And now just getting that plant through. We'll see if he's going to try and go above. No, the wall breaks, and that's a little bit unlucky on the timing. FUT just about scraped their way through that round. But I have to say, early round Hoodie is just terrifying. Just don't go near that man, because the fact that round was even close after the initial start, I think it was Cracks getting a triple kill, it should have just been a whitewash.
It should have been. It should have been. You know, I'll say one other thing. That's the second pistol Footballist have won now. So we know what we say about map win rates whenever you take both pistols, extremely high, but obviously the caveat being if you lose the second round, it undoes all the good faith, all the work, all the foundations crumble the second that you lose round number 2, and it becomes a very scrappy game. So, and as we saw, that round injection went to Giants last time. This time, I wouldn't be surprised if they even force-spotted up with the success they had, but they're playing very ground.
Well, the thing is, Hoodie got so many kills, he's going to bring in the Hoodie Marshal. Now, you might be... Okay, I was going to say...
Very
I was going to try and hype him up,
yeah.
Luckily, the Hoodie Marshal can now become the Fitinho Marshal. Or there you go. He's going to pick it up straight away. So, did I tell you the story of the Fitinho? Just move it on. But the thing is, he was very good with the Marshal in the past. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see it today because he's died immediately.
Yeah, look, it is what it is. If anyone's going to pick up that mantle, I think Coutinho's a good bet.
Who's next?
You know,
Nukia, he's pretty good. Pretty good with the Marshal. Yeah, but let's just get Marshal. No, not Nukia. Okay.
Rhyme, I reckon.
Rhyme? Yeah.
He's right next to it.
Yeah, I think the Rhyme Marshal. Okay, here we go.
1v5.
1v5.
An unfortunate miss. I saw the
He'll
tick,
get
the
4.
tick
He's
right
got
dove.
4. He's got 4 bullets. So he'll get 3.
Okay.
He'll get 3.
He'll get 2
2.
though.
2. 1.
0. And there we go. All right. Well, that round was sort of drawn
So
out.
the Kiwi Marshall was pretty good in that round.
It was.
I think I
It
pretty
was
much
nuts.
said it from the beginning.
I think you called it right away. Fair play, Tom. Good eye. Good eye for the game. They always say that about you.
And it's gone almost immediately. Just
Why
like
would
all
they
the
do that?
last one, he is bought straight into an operator.
You know, it's a heavy investment, but at this stage of the game, I think it's the right call. I'm a fan of sometimes just doubling down and saying, hey, listen, we've made our mistakes before. We can't afford to come in here and gamble on a light buy and, oh, we'll save our money for the next. No, it's time to bring the hurt to Giants, and this is exactly where you do it. This team is coming in full balled up. No ultimates online, but very close to a Viper's pit. That's a concern. It could have even been made worse if Hoodie had have landed one of those shots with the Marshall drone coming up.
So something Lothar loves to sort of point out is the fact that a lot of the time you're going to see this aggressive wall thrown in mid so that they can place an alarm bot deep on Moj. Now, it is something that Nuke immediately destroyed. He just walked in and went, screw your alarm bot, you now don't know if we've taken mid control, because that was something they got away with. And I think, again, Lothar was like, Tom, look at this, they put this alarm bot every round.
Yeah.
If anybody realizes it, it's going to be destroyed. And I think I'll be quite happy to see that Nuke has destroyed it.
Absolutely. And it's reading into those tendencies. That's where I think the back-end staff gets a lot of their worth. Mr. Fallen's already down. This puts a lot of pressure on the side to hold 2 guys there. They're still covering off middle as well, having to concede it, hope that nobody comes up from it. And luckily, this is a one-dimensional push out of Giants, looking to just move through A main. They've got the wall off on left side, just looking to focus a fight towards Ada Captain and the rest of the team, but there are 3 players here. The Snakebite does well to keep them back, but up top, Kiwi's good for a peek. Free kill, and then the trades come in, but Giants aren't losing them. They're in a very good spot, in fact, leaving just Kiwi, an operator in hand, and a 1v3 in front of him. That might be too tall of a task. The state that their economy's in is not bad, but he hasn't got credits. And saving this would allow them to all full buy in the next round. Does he think it's worthwhile risking it for a 1v3?
If he gets a kill and dies, he gets Blade Storm. That's the only logical thing I can think of that might give him a reason to go for it, but
if
it's
he
still
goes
not
and
really
dies,
worth it.
doesn't get that kill, you lose your op, you
Exactly.
lose your full buy, you have to
Exactly.
play for orb early round, yada yada. There's just too many headaches that go along with it. It's not worth the reward.
Yep. And well, exactly. And that's the thing that's a good sign for Giants is those little pieces of utility that are thrown in from FUT to just garner them free map control. The fact that they're just immediately aware of everything they're doing. Like they sent that deep cascade through, placed that alarm bot, and straight away Nuke's like, nope, you're not having that anymore. You're not getting that versus us. And he even actually catches out Mr. Farland in mid. Hoodie got a little bit too close to the spike.
Yeah, it's a good job they were all on 300 credits at the end of that round. So yeah, their economy's actually going to hurt decently from that. Unlucky. These things happen. But yeah, other than that, very clean, clinical, not making the little mistakes. And it's just been so much fun to watch this roster, even in rounds. See, the thing about them is they've got a very good early plan. They're very good at adapting. They've clearly done their work, but then once things go wrong, they've got the individual ability to clutch out those scenarios, and you're seeing it from the likes of Hoodie here.
That look from Hoodie was like, Pipson's not going to forgive me for
I'm getting shouted at. That's getting brought up in the VOD review. So today we're going to discuss saving a weapon, like the spike radius. Hoodie.
He's being called into HR, and it's just Pipson and him in a room.
Soundproof, of course. Oh, the head was spotted. Kiwi won't land the shot. Tough one to hit. But is he going to go back out for this? He's burned up his dash already.
Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Kill come in on the other side of the map. Nuke trying to again put pressure onto mid, trying to deny some of that control. Now the alarm bot has been placed that little bit more passively, not being able to get the same deep control that they wanted prior, but still giving them at least a little bit of information that that part of the map is clear. Still building up into this B site though. And again, we're gonna see utility thrown out, maybe just to give an opportunity for a slightly wider angle for Kiwi, and also Moj has found their lurker. This leaves it just onto these players outside the B site.
Now, one of the toughest rounds the Giants have faced off against, and that was one of the main problems. Kiwi missed both. 2 lift shots, and the B site is wide open. A passive defense for Moj, but he can't afford to lose his life here. No way. Now, they've still got their wall as well on Rhyme.
20 seconds.
But 20 seconds left. I thought they'd be on the side already, Tom, if I'm being honest. Now, it's taken so long that there's players rotated in. They're going to have to go for a passive wall. And it's broken wide open, round's over. Already done. There's no way Cloud walks out with the ace here. It is all going into Footballer's favor. Very well handled in the end.
Yeah, and I like the way that they have different mechanics just to set up Kiwi to go for re-aggression. Like, that's something that's so important because, yeah, there's many opportunities where he could just wide swing and he'll probably get you a kill anyway. But there's much more of a chance for a trade, but they're using that harbor utility almost just as pure supportive element, which is fantastic. So something to definitely watch for if they're going to be able to counter that going forward. But for now, at least, starting to bring this back a little bit, and an early timeout called. Just making sure, from the Giants' perspective, okay, we got split next. We know this is a map we're comfortable on, we're confident on, we played it versus some of the best teams, and it gone close, or won against some of them. But they want to make sure they get this first map, because that's the thing. Even though I would say that FUT on Ascent might not be the craziest Turkish team on Ascent, they are still a Turkish team on Ascent. You don't want to be going into that third map.
Well, that's absolutely true. I think, you know, the reality is for Footballers as well, this first half really did not go according to plan. You try to play that attack side, you're not running the Sage, and when it comes to actually covering off your utility with your Harbor, I'm trying to think. Can you remember a plant that was aided by Harbor? A Cove that successfully got them to spike down? There was always an answer there, and I think that's a big problem. You think about the Cove, 2 or 3 players there spraying away, it's gone already. And they always had those rotations.
So you want to know something cool? We luckily have Kim behind the scenes who just listens in and picks up stats for us. So we mentioned the Hunter's Fury from Cloud. He gets 1.22 kills per play. The next highest internationally is 1, and that's MW0, so he is clearly ahead. That's ridiculous. Thank you, Kim, for giving us that one. Because it just shows, even on the stats, it's not just the eye test of this guy is insane, it literally stats to back it up.
It's crazy, man.
And they don't lie.
They don't lie. I have heard that, let me tell you.
Unless it's cast. And obviously, when we talk about the highest cast, actually, I don't want to take out another analyst. I saw the definition.
I heard Lothar. They've called an ambulance. 11-5. Look, 2 rounds for Giants to take this across the line, and they already came through with a timeout. That's what we were waiting for before kicking off this round, discussing how they want to close this one out. Now, they're keeping a lot of their credits in this, so it's not one where we expect them to fight and bounce right back into it. But the potential of these sort of rounds can never be understated. That's why Footballers are being so cautious. 3 players here, and a very passive double peek coming in.
If there was anyone in that corner, they were definitely dead. I don't mind the idea. Just throwing a little bit of extra economy into utility rather than the weaponry, just at a free chance at a kill. Whoa! Ooh, it gets a little bit awkward, but now with the spike down on the ground, this becomes an impossibility. You've only got Nuke with that singular rifle. Timmy the Turret is going to help him out a little bit. He's actually thrown in the lockdown? I'm gobsmacked that that's something they're willing to use with 20 seconds left versus 4 players. Timmy's got another one! He doesn't need any teammates. Timmy the Turret's doing all of the work.
Both entries were from Timmy. Unreal! At this point, Footballers, well, they're sat back, 46 HP on Maj, and now here comes another ult. A Viper spins to contend with, there goes the Blade Storm. This is looking very winnable now for Giants. This round looked like it was done and dusted. They barely anything brought into it, and with an ace, they lock in map point on Footballers map pick. Unbelievable stuff from this Giants roster. It just cannot be stopped, man.
I would like to give my formal apology to Nuke for not believing in his ult in a 2 versus 4. I'm sorry, I didn't expect that your turret would get 2 kills, and I'm sorry that I didn't expect you would then also commit a Viper's Pit and ace the round. I'm sorry that I didn't have the belief that you would be able to do that.
Yeah, you know, I never saw it coming. The 6th man of Giants he's impressive. I think we've seen players finish maps with less than what he just did in that round right there, and the impact. I'll tell you what, he'd have a 2.0 rating.
It's amazing. Top of the board probably at VCT.
And patient, you know, he always just holds his angle, never over peaks. I love that. I love that about Tim.
Yeah, did cause a pretty bad pause once, but
well, you know, everybody makes mistakes. It is what it is.
He's trying to take the game into his own hands.
You know?
Now, financially, this has put FUT in the dirt. That was a round, even with everything that happened, never should have lost it, ever, from that sort of scenario. Throwing in an extra ult as well to try and make sure you confirm it. Now Kiwi aggressive, though. A bit of an offense. He's just going to jump down! Absolute lunatic! Trying to take the round into his own hands once again. Moj still left. Back. He's going to get himself 1 for free. A chance and denying that extra space. More so, denying Rhyme. There's no wall available anymore, so it has to be that fullback coming up. How has Nuke got here? How has he got here without anybody realizing?
They stepped out of range of the alarm bot. It deactivated, and he just walked right past it. He was lurking around Tube the whole round. That's a big mistake made by Maj. Understandably, the push was coming in, but you look away for a second, you allow a play like that to take place. Here it goes, lockdown in play. Trying to deter them, but they're planning anyways. That's awkward. Ada Captain had a chance, but he can still contain them on their way back. Trying to get damage in as they're stuck in very predictable corners, predictable angles, but you might know where they are. Dealing with them's a different ball game altogether. Barely any HP remaining, and Krax has to clutch this out of the 1v2. He knows where they are, but again, he cannot deal with them. Giants walk out 13-5, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that that was their map pick. They were in control. They lost both pistols, Tom, and they walk out 13-5.
Yeah, I think FUT are going to come out of that map incredibly unhappy. Like, you've gone for a map, you've chosen it. Even when you tried to grind things back, some of the mistakes, I'll be honest, they were unforgivable. And on the other side of things, like you mention a man's name, you say Nuke is in that mode. He's in that form of just, I'm winning any round. As I said, I apologize for not believing in him in that clutch, because we saw some ridiculous things. We saw the true talent of this Giants roster. And next is their map pick.
That's the scary thing, man. And, you know, we warned about it coming into the day. We heard it on the desk. The veto is where we started to think maybe this won't be as close of a game.
Yeah.
But that was definitely not what I expected. Map 1, a disaster for Footballist. We'll have to find out if they can recover it on Giants pick. Up in a bit. See you soon.
Nice! Nice! Nice! Nice! Nice! Clean, guys, clean.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Zero distraction. Zero doubt. Zero opposition.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal VALORANT training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.
Welcome back, everyone, after a short break. And before we go to the desk, I'm gonna show you something about Giants, because we were wondering why on earth are they not rotating or like flanking on the defense, and this round is a perfect example of why they don't do that. So the thing is, they're playing on A this round with 2 players, with Sage and Jet taking a very aggressive position. You can see that Vitinho is currently on pipes, and there's a Sage wall sitting on the bottom of it, so there's no one going through to the side on A. And FUT wants to approach the A side by faking it with a harbor wall. And the thing is, this harbor wall doesn't really do anything, because when I'm gonna play the clip, pay attention how the harbor wall cutting off the entire A backside, but because of Vitinho's position and Sage wall on A, they don't fall for the fake. So they over-rotate, they will have 4 players now next to B backside, and easily, now this is very important, this is the most important aspect of the flanks. When we rewind it, just look at the amount of utility that the defenders still have. It's 1 minute into the round. They still have nano swarms that are being used right now. This is the second nano swarm being put on the ground while the first one is still active. We have 2 shock darts, we have the ultimate, we have 2 snake bites, and still 1 slow orb from Rhyme as well. All of that util allows them to be safe on backside of the map, doing a retake easily where their opponents are not doing any pressure. And they are not doing any pressure, and Giants know about that, because on mid, the utility from Killjoy is still not destroyed. So all of that utility from the defenders can be saved. They don't have to be, let's say, proactive with it, because they're gonna just wait for the opponents to push the side. And the ultimate from Fade actually gives them the cue to start using the utility. So it's perfectly timed from Giants to barrage every single piece of utility in intervals. Whenever FUT wants to go on side, there's another piece of utility. The discipline coming from Giants to know which piece of utility come where goes from good communications. They communicate who does the first utility first, and they just piece by piece dismantle FUT while doing that push onto B side.
Well, thank you very much, Lothar. I think you hit the nail on the head there. They completely dismantled FUT. It's difficult to believe that, Cougar, that this is the same Giants that played Icebox in that week 1. They look completely different.
I think that they had a fair chance of you know, trying out different stuff. We were talking about them playing without the Sage, but I think that the impact they had here was 1, coming through preparation. 2, I also want to talk about Fiti and the kills that he was getting on the operator, that he was, you know, not contested. You're playing with a double smoker, but still we see a Jet that is having such an easy time. When you come here, when Giants decides to start on the defense, I think it shows a lot what we discussed, Lothar and I, there about how they want to plan around it. And even when it came to the attack, we saw that plays, we saw that harbor on B, that setup from Killjoy on mid, but Giants was prepared for literally everything.
We are going to show some of the Fiti stuff in just a moment, but before we get to that, Nukia's turret. MVP?
Yes.
I feel like an
Look.
MVP shout. How did he get that ace in round 18? I don't understand.
I think this is one of the first situation when a turret
It's my
had a
favorite
double
round.
kill before any of the teammate gets a kill in the round. There are literally 2 frags happening from the attackers, and they're both just happening with a turret. I've never seen anything like that. And
Listen, it's the fact that the turret gets 2 kills. Nuki starts putting the ult, being like, I'm invincible here. Like, it's impossible that they can do anything against it. Hootie goes for the plant. Everything that happens in this round, the movement from Nuki. Remember, Nuki decided himself, even though he's a good Soba player, he said, I know that Cloud is going to be more comfortable. I know that he is a better Soba than me. I will play Killjoy. I'm down for it. And he's definitely comfortable in it.
Alright, it looks awesome, I'll be honest with you. The isolation of angles, the confidence coming in was fantastic. And I'm also not surprised that Tom was like questioning the ultimate. The lockdown was feeling out of place when he was doing it. Everyone was like, what the hell? But then it shows that the confidence sometimes turns around the maybe questionable decision making into a winning round. So
I mean, that was just comical, I feel like.
Yeah,
you have
it's
to
a little
laugh
bit,
about it at this point. And Cougar, you mentioned already of Fatinho's defense op kills. Let's actually take a look at those, because I don't know how many he got, but for me, it just felt like, oh, not again. Every single round, not again.
It's so important, even though, you know, like for example, here they're in a 4v5. It doesn't matter if it's to open the round or to follow up on something or someone. VT might not have had the best half of his life. That was a lot of halves. But every single kill that he got was so impactful. Every single one of them is, you feel that he's so free, that the rest of the team is accompanying him. He's just getting that advantage and then going back. A little bit of what FUT does, and the rest of the team followed so well onto that execution to be like, yeah, let's just go for retake.
You talk about advantage. I just want to remind everyone how this game started. FUT won the pistol round.
Yes.
And
That
then,
was about it. Yeah.
in round 2, they just attacked one by one with 5 guns in their hands and donated 2 guns to the eco players. Like, it was like, if I would have to like just showcase some of the rounds to someone who would like to be taught how to not play against an eco, that would be one of the perfect examples of that spacing between the players. And that's not something I would like to say about FUT, because they're playing fundamentally well in the previous weeks.
It's disappointing, isn't it? It's very disappointing.
It's very weird to see FUT now not be the same team that I have been in the previous weeks.
And understanding the space that you need to take. They were playing without the Sage, so they know that they need to take the space before getting the plant. But especially on that round, we see that when the plant is going to come, Hoodie has already a bulldog. That's one of the guns that they donated to them. So it's just, they're just a spray away. There's nothing protecting them.
Yeah, well, we are going to move on to Split. Of course, this is Giants map pick now. This is, again, we spoke about the picks and bans. It was a little bit odd not to see Lotus in there, perhaps in hindsight. FUT should have just leaned more towards that. But Lothar, I think you put it pretty, you summed it up pretty well. This is not the FUT that we saw in the last 3 weeks. I don't know what happened to them, but that map was, I can't even tell what they were doing.
I was never a biggest fan of the Turkish teams because of the way that I've seen them play in the past. And that was like very reminiscent of what I have seen in the past 2 years. The teams were over aggressive, they were not having a good spacing between them, and they were not trading. And this is something I don't want to see fixed for Split.
Well, when it comes to Split, let's talk about the map. I think you prepared something when it comes to the agents as well, or what we can at least expect.
Yeah, exactly. Because remember that the last time that we saw FUT in this map on Split, it was actually Moosh that was playing, and he was playing on the Sky. But the most interesting thing about these two teams is that they are the only 2 teams here in EMEA that use and go for the double information, the KO and the Sky. So, of course, there's a lot that you can do with that information. We definitely know that, but I think it's going to be very interesting, because then the only difference that you see is that Giants decides to go for a double controller, where on the other side, FUT decides to go for Cypher. Now, that Viper, you know, it can grant you that extra control, especially over mid, something that Giants is going to have an easy time fighting for.
Also, which is very important to note, even though Giants have double initiators and have like information kits attached to them, they don't really go for fast executes. Most of the plans are happening past 50th second, and only like I've seen their fast plans were with the KO ultimate when they're just pushing down. That's about it. But it's very, I would say, peculiar to see that kind of playstyle attached to this kind of composition.
Yeah, also, I think that we need to remember that this same 2 maps that we're seeing here are what we saw last week against BBL. And BBL did not have a good time here on Split. I agree with you, Sue. I think that we have seen a FUT that is great. Are they completely missing out today? I think that it also has to do with how Giants has been performing. Remember, the BBL was really close to beating Fnatic, and they got 13-3 by this team.
Yeah, well, we are into Agent Select. Maybe we see a run
changes.
A
Atta captain is everything,
I guess. But Atta was previously not playing this map, and he's moved on to the Astra. So there should be a relative chain reaction here. So Mr. Farm has gone with this guy.
Okay, so I think the only one staying might be Kiwi. Yeah, everything is completely different in FUT. Okay, so that double information is not there anymore. They decide to go not only for the single controller again, they move away from the Cypher. Now Sage is going to come into place, probably trying to fight against that mid control I was mentioning.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Sage though. I would love to see a breach there instead, to just essentially have the ability to take aggressively space on that defense, because right now this is a very passive composition that is a little bit supplemented by the Sky, but Giants can take fully control over the mid area even with that Sage.
Well, it's going to be an easy day for Giants if they are able to close this out here on Split. To Midgeman and Tombiz, let's see if FUT can get back into the game.
Well, we'll see if they can put the right foot forward on this map. The last certainly wasn't looking too good, Tom. I don't know, man. Do you want to
The foot didn't look too good.
It didn't. It didn't. No.
And you're a big fan of that.
Well, I don't know what to say to that, Tom. Split.
You've got all their merch. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I do actually.
What were you thinking of?
No, nothing. So this map. Where are you at coming in here, man? Because I'll tell you what, if you lose in a close game, an OT, it can be tough to bounce back mentally. A game like that, I think they'll be pretty easily able to write off and move on. The question is anything going to change moving on to Split?
I don't think so. Like, maybe it'll be a closer affair, but I have a lot of faith in Split coming out of Giants. Like, they played versus Fnatic, lost 13-11. They played versus Na'Vi, lost 15-13. They smashed BBL. So, like, they have been slowly improving their Split as they go along, slowly improving in terms of their comfort on it as well. Like, I think Hoodie in one of the earlier matches was sort of bullied a little bit by Durka. I don't know if there's going to be anybody on the other side, and one of my main queries is, can Kiwi have the same level on a Raze as he does on a Jet? And that's still a question mark for me. I believe a lot in his Neon. Raze is the one where I'm still sort of getting some question marks. You're also switching up a lot of roles. So I think that's going to make things that little bit tougher to bring Atakan in. So it's going to be a tough one for them. They're going to have to fix a lot of issues from when they were beaten by Team Liquid.
Well, the Coliseum certainly ready to kick this one off. We know Giants are ready. This is their map pick. All eyes on FUT. Let's see if they can pull it across the line here. A start on the defensive side and a slow start for Giants as well. They're not looking to get too aggressive. They have heard a flash inside of B main. That might draw the eye of these players. But outside of that, they are pumping the brakes. They're letting the FUT side make the first mistake.
But yeah, you have to bear in mind as well, Giants are playing a composition that has an awful lot of sort of initiation. Like, you have yourselves a lot of flashes. Like, we've seen a lot of teams recently play this map with just an Omen flash, and that's it. Yeah. That's all they have. So they don't necessarily have to go for these pacey hits because they can sort of use their utility to work out where their opponents are. And already, after showing a lot of presence over on that B side of the map, even pulling a rotation in from Kiwi, they're now sprinting towards that A side.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of presence and it's not being heard just yet. Look how far back these players are from FUT, but it's wise. They're going to dodge some of this utility on the way through, and it's a sneaky bait play. Maj has to get massive value. 3 players gone heaven. That could be a spanner in the works. Nade returned is pretty good. It separated them out a little bit, but that hasn't helped. The first man in was all was needed. With Kiwi down, here they come out of heaven. Good flash. Player down below, completely blinded up, spotted and taken down. And it's left to Atacaptain. He's been surrounded entirely, and Cloud is quick to deal with him. That was a clean and clinical start to this round for Giants.
Yeah, it looked almost too easy. Now just leaving 2 players to try and break back into this one. Bear in mind the last map was dominant and FUT won both pistols, so it's not feeling like the greatest of starts. Of course, different map. They've got to try and reset. Flash through, gives an opportunity here. Crack's at least able to take off one head, and Mr. Farland is going to try and join up alongside him. Caught almost with a flash in hand, but Hoodie's getting tagged low, even just trading 1-for-1, and just look at where the remaining players are, just stacked up together, getting ready for that double swing, and that time is ticking away. So much still to do here, a solo fight handed. Cloud just going to play on that clock, though, something he does masterfully, not giving a single thing over to Mr. Farland, knowing the time has gone. And it got a little bit close, but I don't feel like Giants ever really lost control.
No, and you see it in that 2 versus 1. The fact that the first player swings in immediately to try and punish the defuse being tapped or just to take the fight. But then the other player, much more passive. Cloud staying around the corner and just allowing Mr. Fallen to play himself on the time. I like the bait, though. You saw him go back in to tap it, swing out to try and get the kill, but the shots just wouldn't land. The fact that Cloud walks out with the 3rd as well, 1 more towards his Seekers. But the key thing is, yeah, like you said, FUT won both of the previous pistol rounds and still got absolutely stumped. Now they come into this round.
The thing is, they've gambled super early for Mr. Fallen on the other side. So he knows they're not outside beats. They can keep this stack. I don't think there's going to be much they can do here. Bear in mind, the flashes are all on the other side, so they just have to dry swing in, and, well, Hoodie, he's an early round demon, that's all I'm going to say.
One of the best players to have pick up those kills as well. Just 2 away now from getting a Viper's Pit in play. They know that Kiwi was around this area. Not going to leave the planter to just fall to a sneaky peek. Nice catch. Mr. Fallen has no chance, and Hoodie even got the 4th. He didn't plant, but it means he's just 1 away from grabbing a Viper's Pit, which should be fairly easy to find on the attack side.
Yeah, you can get a B main orb without the most resistance in the world, although it seems like he's going to be lurking on the other side of the map. And you have to look at what they invested in those rounds. They went heavy on the rifles. So although Rhyme is going to be suffering a little bit, it seems, with having a slightly weaker buy, in this Logitech G power-up round, you're going to have 4 rifles over on that attacking side. So this is something that to keep clean is going to be much more difficult than usual.
Most definitely, yeah. And Giants only need that one orb, that one foot on the site. And they will be able to get a pit down and change the tide of this round entirely. Look at where Hoodie is going. My God, speeding his way up towards B Heaven. A Heaven, excuse me. Now sat there. Over in B Heaven, we have a fight from Krax. He spotted a few players, and it's a passive fall back with a wall to just cost them an extra bit of time.
Boombot only going to clear a very small amount, but the idea is that they're going to pincer back in onto Heaven. 3 players now rotated in from that defensive side. They have a decent read, but they're just being hit by ridiculous amounts of utility. Forced into the open. Kiwi's going to do a lot. In fact, that grab ball was fantastic.
Oh, the nade will buy them time to fight the other side. Good on the trade, but the number's still there for Giants. They'll keep it even and grab a plant out of it altogether. Happy with the fact that they have got boots on the ground. If Hoodie had taken that plant, it could have been a Viper's Pit used up right here and now. Instead, they'll play the late round in the 2v2. And one of the problems they'll face is the fact that on the other side, it's Mr. Fallen. He's refreshing his flashes, and they'll have these to fight back into the site potentially. It does come down to timing. I didn't spot when he last used one. But I don't think it'll be too long now before that piece of utility's there. Maybe it will be, because they're looking to push out Dry. He's already spotted one player up close. And now the chance to take that fight. Good for Ryan with Hoodie supporting him. And when he's on his own, he does just as well.
Yeah, it seemed like almost just playing for someone to peek into them there, hoping that somebody on the Giant side make a mistake. And although there was a moment or two where it looked good for FUT, I think the grab well to actually hold them back and garner these extra kills through Heaven was fantastic, but it is just that almost swarm through. Like the rest of the players so far away from being able to help out the remainder. And what you mentioned, that Viper's Pit is now going to be put into play. Now coming online when there's so much weaker weaponry, and on the other side of things, not an ult in sight.
Another aspect of that, the fact that you had the players stacked up on the site, ready to take the fight. You had the grab well in play, worked well. Kiwi got a triple, and those were the only kills they found that round. It does leave something to be wanted on the rest of it. And that man who did so much damage in the previous round, who did all the damage for the team, is now the first to fall.
He's one away from his showstopper now.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a consolation
in this round, but you know, maybe in the next. It is looking like more of the same. And again, just Giants seem so controlled. Like, this is a roster where you've basically gambled into having just heavy amounts of utility, even moving Fatinho away. Like, let's put it this way. If Fatinho had come in on a Jet, and this has been a Jet raise comp, I wouldn't have blamed them. Like, you've got players that can pull it off. But they are so confident in what they can do with those extra few flashes, the knife to take away utility on the site, which we've seen effective a few times.
Oh, there it is, the info. I mean, they already had a fairly good idea. That'll certainly send the message home. Mr. Fallen, he's doing exactly that. Fallen on the wide peak, and they're running away, spotting a lot of players. The A site's looking a whole lot more attractive. This got to be through vents. Surely if they go water, it's going to take so long.
30 seconds
Risk
left.
the fight on B Heaven if there was someone there. You've got the numbers to deal with it. 25 seconds as they make their way to site. Now, sneaky at a captain. Really, his chances are so low. Both flashes used up at least. Limited utility to make their way onto the site. The man has only got a sheriff. Denying this plant, impossible. They're covering all their bases, and you see that even with the trade.
Yeah, maybe in a world where he had an extra star to play with, that could have been a round where we'd get a little bit excited, he could slow them down or something, but he literally had nothing. It was just purely based on what he could do with his individual brilliance, and unfortunately this time, this is not going to be one of those miracles. Now, this is where things need to change. Kiwi pulling up the operator, rifles across the board, the finances already off the charts for Giants. Like, you're looking at Rhyme with 8,400 credits post-purchase. Like, that's just him buying up a couple of extra stars, most likely. I don't think they had to use many in the last round. So they are so far ahead in this economy game, and already we're going to see a little bit of aggression in towards A main coming out from that raised player of Kiwi, just taking that control away, and instantly they gamble a rotation off.
I think it's also worth highlighting that, you know, at this point, Hoodie has died once. The man has 9 kills on the board, has a Viper's Pit in his back pocket. Just a game of his life right now. Another problem for FUT and how confident he is in just holding those angles by himself. Holding A main for the team while they pressure out mid. They've already gotten towards the top, got a turret down. Very much down as they pull it back. But I think that on Giant's side, I thought they were going to split through vents again, but this is looking like a full 5 push.
This is the thing, he's so
What is this
aggressive.
angle?
He's so aggressive with this operator.
What is this
He doesn't
angle?
even hit the shot. That's such a gamble. And because of him being so deep, the rest of the team are a little bit further away. Mr. Fallen almost just looking at buying for time. But the thing is, they haven't aggressively pushed off this. They're still methodically taking that heaven control, going through their own screen. Viper's pit's just going to shut down, and it's an instant trade. Now it's on to Cracks to see what he can get. He gets nothing as well. This is just a round of just easy pickings for Giants, and they're going to struggle even just to clear heaven out.
Look at him running out of the pit as well, emerging from the shadows to deal that death blow to Maj. Only had a captain left. And look at him. Hoodie, you snaky boy, but he's caught this time around. The punish is in. Another player up here is expected. Good read from Ada Captain. Spidey senses were tingling, but that doesn't help at the end of the day. 3 players left alive for Giants as they go out of this one 5-0. This attack side building up rounds like there's no tomorrow. If you're footballist or FUT, you're really running out of time to come back on into this.
You can't do it,
I
can
can't
you?
stop, man. I can't stop. I'm sorry.
You're never allowed to change your name
sorry.
because Mitch just won't be able to forget the
Vodafone
original
Giants
one.
versus Footballers, baby. Let's go. No, I'm sorry, Sinan. It's a force of habit. It's a good thing. It means the old name, you know, it meant something. It stuck around.
You know, it's really hard to remember the word FUT as well.
It is. Too many letters. Anyways, GIA with the first kill. They're doing well. Mr. Fallen down. Look, that's what you want to see. A direct inverse of the upping we just saw on defensive side, holding for what I think was they were waiting for Hoodie to lurk through. Like he'd put his wall, but what a crazy play. And I think they were rewarded justly for it. That op now coming back to bite Kiwi as he falls to it.
And Nuka's not had a lot to do so far, which is kind of ridiculous considering he's been playing on Rays. Like normally, first point of contact, but even he hasn't been dying much so far. Maybe trying to bait a player into the judge. Very optimistic. Just going to try and get that a little bit closer, but they can just flash straight out of this smoke. The player on the other side is going to be so blind. The easiest of kills. The judge at least going to garner one. Moj trying to push back through, but they are so ready for it. Good luck, Cracks.
Yeah, it was a really nice try by Moj. At this point, yeah, Cracks, you're stuck there, Sheriff in hand. They haven't cleared you, very least, but they're really running out of spots to clear. Rhyme has... Oh, I thought he was going to get it. He very nearly did. Those damn ropes, man. It can be tough. It can be tough.
6-0. One of the cleanest attack sides we've seen so far. 10-1 for Cloud. Like you mentioned Hoodie earlier, but I feel like he's just been having a field day. Utterly dominant this round. Nuka just patiently waiting with that operator. Showstopper available for him in this round. And, well, as I said, they've looked at very, very good on this map. A pause taken by FUT. And this is the thing. It's kind of difficult to look at, okay, what can they counter here? Like, maybe, but firstly, if you're going to get that operator back into play, it has to be that little bit more passive, especially with the way that currently Giants are working the map. They are slowly taking that control, so a lot of your surprise angles are not going to work out. Like, again, I mentioned it. A lot of teams, when they play this map, have maybe one flash. Maybe they throw in a Sky, have a few extra ones, but that's why Kiwi's angle against this roster is just not effective anymore. Yeah. And even still, it was an incredible gamble for him to take.
If you were a Jet and you had a dash, it's still crazy risky.
It's still risky.
Getting out of that angle is almost impossible. But I can't comprehend what the idea was there. Again, maybe it was trying to catch Hoodie on a lurk, who at that point I think was still sitting 9-1 or very close to it. Now, if you look at Hoodie and Cloud together, as you're seeing on your screens, 20 kills between them and 4 deaths to share. I mean, this is very much a symptom of the problem that we're seeing here. Footballist, FUT, I'll get there, man. I'll get there. They're in a pretty bad position here on the defensive side, but they've got 4 ultis and they're about to have Mr. Fallen Seekers as well, so maybe that could be the difference maker.
Deep Sky Flash is going to at least give them a little bit of info into mid, an early wall as well. It looks like FUT's sort of plan here is to almost just try and shut down as much early control as possible, still stacking up initially on this A side, but a lot of this stuff for Giants I don't think is going to make that much of a difference. They are doing a lot of the same thing, like slowly taking mid-control, clearing all of their angles, using their utility to good effect to make sure that these fights are not going to be easy. And okay, the Sky Flash is going to tell you there is still someone there. I don't think Giants care.
No, and that's all the Sky utility, well, refreshing right now when it comes to the flashes, but it's all burned up early round. You don't have them to scare these players back at this point. And if you're making that one, there's another flash. You know, the second it refreshes, it's thrown back out. This is very much a passive play from FUT. They're conceding the control. They're letting Giants know we're conceding this control. We're just trying to bait you in. The question is, what setup have they got planned? Giants are trying to figure that out right now, and it looks like they're set to move it towards B. If I was to guess, that is what footballers or FUT want them to do.
Seeker's out.
30 seconds left.
Cosmic Divide as well. It looks like this is going to be a hit in towards this B site. So much utility being thrown in. Showstopper as well to try and get them that entry, and it will. A decent trade to start with, but Nuke's just still going.
They hadn't seen
Finally
cracks.
falling into the back. Cracks though, as you said.
That flash is good. He's still alive somehow. Eventually dealt with, sure, but look, a little bit of a problem here for Fadinho. You ain't getting out of that one alive. Well handled, and there's the first round. That is very much the setup they were trying to bait them into.
Yeah, I think it was almost just that third player, as you mentioned, like being at the back of the site was just the surprise factor. Having the lockdown for those late round scenarios is one of the first times we've properly seen Giants be bitten by any piece of utility. It's okay, we're just gonna hold this until the very last second. Even still, it almost worked out with Nuke just styling on this operator. It was just that last man. Otherwise, okay, it's still gonna be a bit more awkward with the timing, but it was more so just that spike was dropped. If they get the plant, really not that much of an issue.
A surprise lockdown. We've all been there. And I think for FUT, they're going to be pretty happy to have only burned up one ultimate as well in that defense. They are sitting pretty with a stacked up ult economy. Same thing as we've seen before on this mid-peak, and lots of information gained.
Picking up the pace a little bit here. Again, they've been very slow with this control, but after not really being challenged, Mr. Fallen is going to get the information in a very different way this time out. And rather than getting into the last sort of 30, 40 seconds, they managed to get the exact same space as last round in, well, under 30.
I think this is much more uncomfortable for FUT than what we saw before, though. This team of Giants leaning heavily towards B, and, well, you're seeing that they're going to have that information any moment now. The Seekers on their way up and through, destroyed by a player on top B, calling for the rotations. You've got a third man now coming to the B side, but Giants have pulled a switcheroo. They're going to the other side of the map. Killjoy utility dealt with, but they haven't got rid of the op, and now look who bounces from the other side. A great bait and fantastic execution. They can still get Fadinho back up and online, and with that nade forcing the player out of heaven, I think we are going to have a 3v2.
That advantage quickly diminishes. Again, the time starting to tick low, and again, Fadinho is dead. Maj having a fantastic round. A 2 versus 2, make that a 3 versus 2 in their favor, but Nuke still standing. He's not gonna get the kill this time out, and Hoodie is left with 10 seconds to play with. Instantaneous flash to leave him in an awkward spot, but he's run out of time. There's not enough for him to get that plant down, and Mr. Fallen knows it.
Cross back over just to get the op. I'm sure he was ducking a little bit instinctively.
maybe in real life.
Yeah. But they've got it on the board. It might be close. It's a hell of a lot better than some of the rounds we've seen from them before. Again, ult usage is fairly low over on that FUT side, not having to burn up a ton for it. But that setup they had was sublime. And I think, again, at the start of this round, it looked like they wanted to bait them into a B push. Or sorry, an A push even, because they had 3 stacked up there. They gave up the mid control, they waited outside of vents. Then that fake, the Seekers go out on B, they start to look at that side as more of an opportunity. And so FUT rotate a player around. They leave A lighter. So that setup wasn't even the start of round plan. That was some guys left behind just in case. And they made it look beautiful.
Yeah, I think as well, one of the things we noticed from Mr. Fallen in that round is even just holding back a little bit of that utility. Like, they are playing so passive that they don't really need to just be throwing out those fake flashes. So I wonder if that's going to be the adaptation from Giants here. Is, okay, if they're going to start holding some stuff back in the early rounds, do we just pick up the pace? Do we now just go for one of these faster hits in towards the site? Or even just having more of a default outside of A? Because they've been using mid so aggressively that you haven't had that same sort of lurk outside of main. You haven't had anybody to push in from the other angle. So I think that's been the major issue. Imagine if someone goes ramp in that round. Do you think they get caught in that same crossfire? No.
No, exactly. And it's one of those things, I think it was a last-second pivot. They saw the Seekers, they saw that on B, and they just turned tail to run to the other side, so it wasn't something that they had set up. And in those kind of moments, that's where FUT benefit. When you put Giants on the back foot, they're not able to execute their A plan. Instead, they look elsewhere, they look to make a scrappy plan on the spot. Didn't work out for them that time.
Did someone like jump down and injure themselves? I've already seen a heal used, and I don't know how that's even.
You might be right.
How that's even possible. Not the greatest start to the round. Again, we're going to see this standoff. Now, Kiwi, as we've seen many a time, playing these incredibly aggressive angles. Hoodie is more than ready for this.
It's a patience game. That wall going up forced him out a little wider. The pressure made elsewhere on the map, and this is where Hoodie has a decision to make. Next 20 seconds or so, does he go forward, or does he keep waiting for Kiwi? And I think something's got to give eventually. With this kind of control being exhibited, B Heaven under threat. They still have 3 players on this side, but look at FUT now, starting to shift that extra player towards the A side, and now the push is coming in. And good distraction, well timed, and Nukia, I don't know how he got that kill, but Maj is gonna wish that he didn't. Oh, that's so awkward! A great blast pack there, just to offset him for a second, and that's all that was needed.
Yeah, a nice little take. Again, I mentioned it, just to change your pace. Disrespecting some of the utility that was put down, the smokes by Ada Captain just walked through. They didn't even wait a second. And then I feel like it was a bit of an odd one. Cloud was sent in almost just a lamb to the slaughter. He jumps down, Nuke gets the kill, and then he just runs onto the side and kills the second player. They're not allowing any of these sort of hidden corners that were left before. Again, like now I need to see another adaptation from FUT. Are they going to start placing some of that utility a little bit quicker again? And that's where the mind games begin. Because you just had those slower rounds from Giants where you're able to go, okay, I can hold this a little bit longer. I can wait a little bit second. They're not going to disrespect this. And all it takes is one round where Nuke and Cloud go, screw utility. We're gonna out-aim you.
And I think it's coming as well. It's only a matter of time before that round comes into play at 7-2. Oh, good catch. Great catch by Ada Captain. That could have been the weapon lost. But they'll keep that off through into this round. What impact will it have is still to be seen. Looking at the showstopper though. It's been online for a while in Kiwi's back pocket. And this, we're really getting up to the time where I expect to see him use it. And actually, as we come out of this replay, you can see the Kiwi ain't using an operator here. He's not using a rifle. He's got a stinger. And that makes me feel like he might just pull out a rocket launcher to back it up.
He's actually alone on B main. Maybe a little bit unlucky here. The rest of the team are on that A side of the map, but he is going to get rhyme. The thing is, though, it's going to be an instant response. Operator holding down that long push. Now, Moj had a decent round in the last map. And looking to just hold down this Anchorage again. FUT just have the perfect read on this round. And UK, well, I don't doubt him.
Yeah, not going to say anything this time, Tom. I respect that. 5's a little bit too much for most players. Nukia, though, he's the man to get it done. Cracks. Let's an end to that storyline real quick, though. 7-3. Another round for FUT on the defensive side. This is Giants map pick. And I think a key thing about that, Tom, that we have to highlight, we have to underline, is the fact that they chose the map. They didn't choose the starting side. So
yeah.
They're already technically on, you would have to assume, on FUT's preference. I love this idea, though, the fact that you have one player hyper-aggressive on one side of the map, and then on the other, you have your operator. You have something that you want them to run into speedily, and that's exactly what they do. They played into FUT's hands.
Okay, an instant defensive side Cosmic Divide. They placed it so deep to almost just, I guess, shield the fact that they've taken map control. And the fact is, they basically pushed B main and then just gambled over on the A side. Risks being taken by FUT in these rounds, but I have to say, I love it.
Sometimes you have to roll those dice in a fantastic beginning with Kiwi already grabbing 1 kill, a heavy stack on the site that won't really be red just yet, or maybe it will be. Look at the change of direction. Giants shifting their focus to middle. There is a player making his way through middle at this very moment. Mr. Fallen would have to get so unlucky. The wall is breaking, and now he spotted them, but his position given away. Nothing found for it. Giants again managed to evade some of those sneakier plays. They're going into spawn. They're looking to fight this all the way through into their actual spawn. It's a crazy play from Giants, and one that's working out. Kill after kill going their way. They're being flanked slowly by Mr. Fallen. He's been on their tail this entire round, Tom, but he's going to catch them. He's looking the right way. He's dodged the flash. Here's his chance. Another miss. Some damage done at least.
Yeah, everybody's been tagged up a multitude of times, but even still, somehow, Giants, even after an awkward start to this round, they're now going to utilize the Seekers.
They know exactly where these remaining are. The heal isn't really going to do anything at this stage. The swing out, just looking to try and find Mr. Fallen as they now swing onto the side. Vitinho, he's still alive. He should have died a long, long time ago. And somehow, once again, Giants just steal it from under the feet of FUT.
22 HP between them, closing that out as well.
Madness.
And Vitinho went swinging into 2 players that were round in the corner. And hell, you saw
Look at
it.
this.
It caught them off guard.
Initial, he goes down to 9 HP. He then gets healed back up later in the round. 47 HP goes down to
Barely
7.
healed.
So that little bit of extra heal that he had actually made all the difference. Like, I don't know. Cloud definitely did something in that round, but it almost seemed like he was just their healer.
And if I'm not wrong, he had more heal in the tank, so they were just like, that's enough. That's all you need, buddy. That's 1 bullet. You get hit twice, it's over anyways. Oh, man. And again, like we say, it just looks like they can't put a foot wrong over on that Giant side. So far, nothing but clean play. 8 rounds on the board, looking to make it 9 to close out this half, the last round in play. A lockdown for Maj, but Nukia and Hoodie both coming in, ulted up. This could be a scary round for FUT if they give up any space.
The fun thing about this map is I just know that Lothar's going to be pulling out one of his heat maps at some point. And it's just going to be, at some point,
No! No! What was that?
He's gone, well, hands first into heaven. There wasn't even a smoke or anything either. Like, if they put a smoke there and he does the same thing, I think it's fine. Oh, they don't know there's a man behind the wall. How does he get even 1? Luckily, Kiwi is there to find instantaneous trades. And, well, it's 8-4. Still an incredible half for Giants. Decent comeback, though, for FUT. Because genuinely, the way that this map started, I thought they were just going to get bodied. Like, this was 6-0.
Yeah. The whole first quarter just slipped through their grasp entirely. Wow, yeah, look, it's one of those, he's going to watch that back and feel real silly, but...
He actually physically jumped. He physically jumped.
In fact, he might not need to watch it back to feel silly. I think he might have that feeling already well ingrained. But yeah, like we're saying, 8 rounds is great for Giants. Yeah. This is their map pick. This is where FUT wanted to begin on the defensive side. They had the choice of where they started. And now, I mean, look, logic seems to indicate that they're on the side they dislike, that they don't want to play as much. And going in with 4 rounds, yeah, I think they probably would have wanted a few more. But it's the fact that they got those last 4 in the last 6. Recency bias is on their side. They're starting to build up momentum, and maybe they can market it to themselves as we're slow to start. But now we're warmed up and we're ready to play.
Yeah, I think this is, again, where Kiwi now becomes the pinnacle point of this roster. Like, how is he going to be able to get them in, get them that extra space? Because you have to bear in mind you're playing up against that double initiator defensive comp. Like, that's where you're going to have so much information going in. Rhyme going to be working as that site anchor alongside Hoodie, actually a lot of the time challenging in mid control with where that Viper plays, and that can be very, very awkward for teams to face off against. It can be really difficult. I think it was something that sort of Angel was mentioning, is like the way that Viper actually completely changes the dynamic of how you actually play middle. You almost have to waste a lot of utility there just to try and stop them having such a ridiculous amount of control. Now, the way that Fnatic dealt with it was run through it.
Yeah. Doesn't always work.
Yeah, it works quite well when you have a player called Durka. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's pretty good at finding you opening kills.
Derek, you mean? Yeah, he's alright.
Yeah, everybody loves Derek. But no, I think that that's always going to be one of the more difficult things about facing off against this composition, is you're going to have so much information and a lot of utility to almost deter with that double controller. So I want to see how FUT are going to deal with that. And again, as said, I feel like because of that, Kiwi's going to have to do a great job with these more direct hits on the entry and some supportive utility coming through from the likes of Mr. Fallen and the captain.
It's been a fairly well-rounded game towards the bottom of the scoreboard as well for FUT. I think this is somewhere that you don't have 1 or 2 players who are completely deactivated, who aren't hitting their shots. This isn't a team that can fall apart at the seams right now. They have the potential to bounce back, and hell, I want to see it. This first map was a mistake. I think it's plain and simple. It's as clear as can be. The second one was an expected quantity coming into today. FUT will have been well aware that they were looking to play it. They've had their ideas, they've had some okay rounds. Now let's see how they deal with this, exactly what you were talking about earlier, Tom, the Viper utility holding down mid. It is just so frustrating to play against. It's also something that not many players will be, I don't want to say well versed in, but it'll be a while since they've seen this kind of play.
It's definitely not easy. Already, the second the Poison Orb goes down, a Snakebite goes down instead. Smoke's being utilized. Like, it is just so much being put into deter. Now, on the other side, you're going to have control being attempted, but a Gravwell utilized by Rhyme, and you can't really push anymore if you're Mr. Fallen because you have the spike.
Poison's off.
There's the orb down, spotting the players behind it, but Hoodie won't win the fight, and nobody close by to support him. That is B-Heaven control for the attackers. FUT making their way through. It's Cloud waiting for them. Good first shot, and now he can retreat into B main. A deep flash to confirm nobody is going to lurk up behind him, and that's good control and a good foothold for Giants to work from.
Yeah, this now becomes incredibly tough because you've got nowhere safe. You basically have to stay within the site. Heaven is the only other position, and you can see the push coming through from Anna Captain. He's hoping he can catch someone on that rotation back through. Flash dodge, they actually don't clear it properly, and Cloud is going to come out with both. Now Anna Captain, the only man remaining. No chance in that round, and well, again, I have to feel like that's a blunder. Like, Cloud does an incredible job, but he basically just looked away from the flash, doesn't get caught, easy 2 kills.
They don't check the corner either. I do think at that point you're starting to consider, as you're retaking that control, that this player has left and is wrapping around Heaven. That's probably where their minds went. Unfortunately, that small area that they left unchecked was where Cloud was sitting, and he will punish that. Even missing the first few shots, they'd have come around looking at that corner. It's a different game that unfolds. It's a different game that's in front of us. But right now, we're looking at Giants 9-4. And while FUT may have won both pistols in the previous map, Giants, with that under their belt here, will not be looking to let this one go.
No, you can already see it. It's a heavy buy again. 1 Spectre, but the rest is all rifles, mostly Bulldogs on the other side, and on defensive side, that's pretty much fine. It's not really going to cause you anywhere near as many issues. Actually pushed through the smoke. On the other side, nice shot from Kiwi. And because of that 1 kill, even though they managed to garner a little bit of space when it came to the B side, they're going to try and pressure in. Vitinho, I don't know if he'll pull that same kill off if he tries it 100 times, but he'll take it.
Hoodie would love to go get that Bulldog, but it's a little bit too much of extra pathing for him, leaving mid open for that long. It's a good thing that he's still sticking around and hasn't gone for it, because it means that Ryan will at least know that Heaven is secure. He'll even have support. Good repositioning from Hoodie. He's here in time to help out. A quick util check, though, sees he's got nothing left after burning it up early on mid, so it's going to have to be that Spectre fighting from distance, and the Bulldog up close. The Bulldog doing very well, and Ryan, or Hoodie rather, providing that support from above. Giants made that one look easy. Barely broke a sweat.
Yeah. And Rhyme even taking a little bit of a risk running through that smoke into pistols, but gets away with it. Has the Gravwell down as well. And now 10-4. An absolutely dominant scoreline once again. Giants, and I said it at the beginning, I think, firstly, they've looked a little bit underrated because of the first 2 opponents they had, but this was also a statement match. This was one where you come in up against FUT, a team that people are very excited about, and rightly so. They've looked fantastic, and this isn't close. They are demolishing them.
It's a fantastic sign. If you're a Giants fan, if you're the Giants team, you're coming into a game like this expecting a close game, expecting a serious performance from FUT. And I think coming out of this, the context has not been around FUT being completely lost or being terrible or missing shots or anything like that. It is more praise for Giants and how they're playing. They are rising above the level that their opponents are playing at. Maybe not right there, but in most of, maybe not right there either, but in most of the fights, they're doing incredibly well.
Oh, Mitchman, try not to curse, challenge. Try not to say that word other than FUT, challenge. Failing a few of those. Can Rhyme do anything here, though? Everybody pushing in his direction. Gravwell! It's a little bit awkward, but thankfully Moj is going to trade almost immediately. Vitinho breaking the wall actually grants a little bit of extra space for Cloud. The other player can't even go for the trade because they're the one with the spike. Moj has to fall back. And okay, sure, it's a 2 versus 3, but I've already seen these two in a clutch situation.
Oh, that nade as well, gonna force the planter out of position. The spray is there to catch him as well. There's the trade attempted, but Kiwi's now out in the open, and Vitinho capitalizes. Mr. Fallen does well to at least secure main, and 12 HP on his opponent. A great flash, but a reposition from Vitinho. It might not be expected, but Mr. Fallen, round he goes to catch him. He read that perfectly, played it perfectly, and that is a lifeline for Team FUT.
Still way too close in a bonus round. Like, that was still them playing with a Spectre and Bulldogs for the most part. Now the rifles come into play. Seekers already online for Cloud. And this was after 2 players basically just went down right off the rip. It was an impressive attempt out from Vitinho and Cloud. And while I still really fear for FUT, there needs to be a pinnacle round for them. A round that just is clean. Someone just basically wins it for them and gets them hyped up again.
It's Kiwi most of the time that's going to pull those rounds off, and well, he certainly has a good track record when it comes to split as well.
He's already out of util. He's got no blast packs, no boombot, just a singular nade. Like, you can already see the pinch because of the amount that was spent in the last round. Okay, sure, Rhyme has a judge, but look at where he's playing. Like, genuinely, just look right now where Rhyme is playing. Rat.
Yeah, that's a little disgusting. Hello, there's a kill for Cracks at least, locking it down on middle, getting them access to vent. 2 players up in heaven though, and both of them are flashers. This is a really tough take if they're going to be working off of that together, but instead they're conceding the control, falling back down towards the site, taking bottom ramp to fight back up. Here comes an early flank from Nukia. Unexpected, they turn to deal with him. Nukia's keeping him moving. The blast pack almost gets him the kill, but Kiwi, 1 versus 2. Health looking good. Spike available for him as well. And it's far from over, and he has the option to take it elsewhere. Nade fired out, and he is going to sneak his way through the vents, back around to the B site.
30 seconds
You
left.
mentioned that this was the man. 2 kills already in a round. A 1 versus 2 that, okay, it looks winnable. Rhyme can probably upgrade once this plant comes through, but there's going to be plenty baited off the clock. Even going to actually plant it safe, not knowing how close or hot on the tail his opponents are, but they are quite far behind. A very real opportunity, a single kill here, and he'll have that showstopper online to potentially close the round, but let's be honest, in the zone, Kiwi won't need it.
That flash was used up from Cloud to clear up into heaven. They're splitting up as well on the way through. No trades possible. Showstopper popped, and Kiwi's just going to hold it, run that clock down as much as he can. And any moment now you expect to see him swing through, fire the rocket. Doesn't do as much damage as he'd like. Now he's forced to run forward, and Cloud caught him. That could have been it. A way back in. The gap closed for FUT. Instead, the same old story. Giants.
He's unstoppable.
Putting it up to 11. Cloud clutching. Just another day.
Yeah, I fully believed. I'll be honest with you. I fully believed in that moment that was going to be the closeout for Kiwi. A good round from him, trading back a lot of the frags, like not giving that opportunity over to Nukia, reading the position of Rhyme after they split up. Showstopper even to take them down to half HP, and then Cloud just goes, oh, instant headshot, no problem. 18 and 8. And it's safe to say, we mentioned this, like, him being a pickup for Giants was one of the reasons a lot of people were very excited about this team. One of the hot prospects going into the future. Honestly, someone I expected Na'Vi to keep. Yeah. I think he's a fantastic player, and he has proven it week in, week out.
Look at that damage. 48 HP left on Ada Captain. Almost went down to the spray. And you've still got the main setup of the nade. Oh, that's going to push them back, right back. Damage done on the way. And they're looking to punish, but Cracks found a safe corner to fight from. Very well done.
Man, they've got some decent ults in this round. Lockdown available. They want to try and get themselves into an after.
No! Oh, sorry. I got completely confused for a second.
You and looking at teammates
and
just getting bamboozled. This is the Mitch special now.
It took 1 second because I was like, but who's he
about to
who's he healing?
Versus his teammate?
I was like, who's he healing? Who's he possibly healing? There we go. What a position, though. So they've pushed all the way through A, while FUT are entirely inside of B main. Versus Pistols as well. Not a likely push to make happen. They've had A main lurks. Giants have lurked A main the majority of the rounds. And this lockdown, if anything, it just confirms they're making the right call. They're rotating into the right position. Snake fight to stop them on the way through. They're damaged. And here comes the flank.
Actually not going to destroy the lockdown. He's just waiting to try and get in on that flank. Still, though, these Pistols are doing so much. Kiwi again
He might not have been able to clutch out that last round, but he's up against Cloud. He's got an opportunity for revenge, and not this time. He's not going to get anything done. 11-6, Giants. A bit of a blunder for them, but a huge round for FUT.
Yeah, it's one of those rounds that happen every so often. I think for Giants, you know, looking for early aggression around there, getting behind the lockdown as well. Like, the timing seemed very good. I think the fact that Maj was still around there was a thorn in the side, because the impact on that round, had he either have continued up through mid and attempted to make the flank through heaven, they would have lost the round. You know, he has to lose that fight to the player behind for them to know.
This is how confident he is right now. A solo rifle, low shields for Cloud. I don't blame him. He's got enough credits that he can still go for an investment into the next one. UK is going to buy up with the Sheriff as well, so they're still looking to make this one tough. Keeping this one clean, for me, is when you start to think, okay, maybe there's a possibility for FUT to turn this around.
Still the res online here for Cracks. Fight around mid. Gives him a lot of potential.
Oh, damn.
Swing back into it, but I think this is going to be event split now.
Is it
with
the
that
cursed
kill.
rifle this time? We've already had ourselves the... Never mind, maybe just cursed.
Now, well, they heard him drop down, right? He fires off the bullets, but instead they just realize, oh, someone just shot over there. I'm going to spray it and then take the kill. Nice and easy. Deep nade's going to do a ton of damage. Yeah, they're just setting Rhyme to fall back. He hasn't got support from the second player. Not even going to be shot out of the sky there. Kiwi left on 60. I mean, that looks like a Giants round. That is very reminiscent of the attacking side out of Giants.
Yeah, for the difference now. FUT slowly climbing their way back into this one. Still a very, very long way to go. And this is where the ultimates start to really build up. Like, you are looking at 3 ultimates on the Giants side being 1 away, and a Viper's Pit already available for Hoodie. Now, he's actually playing at least, or in the initial setup, was over towards that B side. I wonder if maybe just the pause had already been called, because he might just opt to double back. The thing is, he can actually use his Viper screen elsewhere if he's going to be actually setting up into mid with that Viper's Pit. So I wonder if they might just use that to shut down that control. We've seen so many times attempts to go mid against a Viper's Pit, you're just doomed.
Timeout called by Footballist.
No, by FUT.
FUT. We'll get there. It's only been like, what, 4 weeks? You know?
Yeah,
Plus all the time before that. They changed that quite a while ago. You can tell I prefer the old one, but it is what it is.
Joe, if they didn't appreciate you calling it the wrong name, they definitely won't appreciate that.
It's all right. It's all right. Sinan's got my back. It's okay. We'll be having chats, I'm sure, in the hallway afterwards. We're like, maybe it's like, you know, it's a compliment.
Right.
It's not really. But the 4 rounds between them at this stage, FUT definitely showing the level of play that we wanted to see coming in today. You got to remember, they lost both pistols here, and this map is looking incredibly close. Certainly not the same team that we saw playing over on Icebox. But it's still hard to come up with these answers again and again when it comes to this attack side. And as you're saying, Giants having ultimates online, I mean, unless Hoodie's going to go peek in mid with his hands out, I think we should be in a pretty good spot for an incredibly tough round ahead of FUT.
Yeah, it does look like he's just going to walk straight in and use that Viper's Pit. Huge start, though. Maybe not expecting an operator to be on the other side for Kiwi. That is just a free kill to open up. Something we mentioned with his aggression on that defensive side, a lot of the time being more of a burden. Instead, just having that freebie, I wouldn't be surprised if they now just try and pressure onto this A side, because that Viper's Pit, as I said, it's just a horrific thing to try and challenge into mid.
It really is, and I think you're 100% right. You get that kill on A, even without it, you're going to decide to go to an extremity. This isn't a round to try and fight for mid unless you're going to put everything into it. Showstopper for Nukia, definitely a terrifying prospect, a back pocket play that they know they have to back up. And indeed, he's rotated his way around to A heaven. It's in the right spot to get massive value in this round. 4 coming through on that smoke. Delayed a little by the nade. Nade is actually catching 2. Here comes the Showstopper, and the show is very much over. A res here for Cracks, but they're going to double peek this. Not a chance. As Giants steam up to 12. Just 1 more needed to close this series 2-0.
Well, we got Timmy the Turret and Nathan the Nade just helping out Nuke in the majority of these rounds. Just a lovely little utility combo to just completely shut down that push. He was just patiently waiting to see if anybody came through. And just look at all the assists that came alongside that as well. Disgusting stuff. from the Giants squad, and that's the thing. You feel that this one is coming. 5 in a row needed for FUT, otherwise this series slips away from them. Their overall scoreline. Wow, okay.
Instant?
An instant push. Maybe just having enough of the fact that Hoodie's been able to shut down mid control, they're just going to take it away.
I gotta say, he's lucky that that snakebite wasn't inside the orb. That could have done a ton of damage to him on the way through. Either way, right, that showstopper doesn't get a kill. It doesn't mean it's not a success.
Yeah.
It's still finding space for the team, and okay, they hold on to the space. So that's huge. The B side under threat. The 3-man stack on A now starts to rotate, and I think they have a pretty good idea about that rotation. Vitinho is sort of pulsing the information at them as he moves over.
Oh, big kill though. Hoodie already down. An aggressive push through B, that's going to clear things out for Rhyme. You know he's not being pincered on. Vitinho might actually catch a nice timing, but they pull out the gun. He's still, the ball actually saves him. Krax basically killed himself in a way, but luckily, Fiddy is there to help. Turret down as well. Rhyme still a bit of a surprise factor. Almost very awkward with that Tiger being utilized. But even still, a 3v2, I'm not particularly confident.
Oh no, the pressure is on for FUT. That is for certain. They're trying to make a play in through spawn. The late wrap on Heaven. Got good control to fight from, but everybody is split up into 1v1s. It comes down to timing on some of these peaks, and Rhyme is the first to deal damage. Now the flank, caught behind the wall. Got to make noise or just wait it out, but they are now on the site. Okay, at least a Nano. A Nano has stopped them from defusing. It buys the extra time for the wall to break, but now they've seen him on the swing. Maj needs this kill. Up top, Cloud is so low, and there it is! A round desperately needed for FUT, and Maj will deliver a lifeline here. 4 more, though, needed.
That was so impressive. Realizes there's just a pixel angle to deny that defusal. That was the main thing, because that time was already ticking. Even if he then goes down, it is going to be a race to that finish line for Cloud. But that just seems to be that extra layer to this Giant side. It's just their clutch capabilities. This was another round where it just looked like it was going to be easy and almost a walk in the park, but it came down to a 1v2 clutch scenario for the side of FUT. But that might just breathe some life into the team. The buy on the other side stinks.
It's rough. It's one of those you can take, though. It's a reset round, really, if you're Giants, and one that still has a ton of possibilities. We saw it on the end of Icebox Tom. You cannot count out a buy like this and just how dangerous it can be. In particular, Rhyme, he is running a Judge, but not in the typical Judge position. You'll see this all over the map, up in Heaven of A or B, but in this case, the man is stood on the bottom of ramp, shotgun in hand, beckoning them in.
They've also got the Viper screen there as well, so they can pop this as an extra layer. So they're going to be low if they try and run through that. And then Vitinho's up here with another shotgun. I really, really, really don't want this round to work.
Okay, well, they've at least given away that they're here. The wall going out. Hoodie on one, and Nuke just picked him out of the air. No chance for Kiwi. The heal on Ada Captain. How much will it really do? No. They're being picked apart on the way through. One at a time they fall. Some fight left in them at least. They'll keep a hold over this for now. The shorty down below is evaded. Rhyme has snuck his way through, still with that Judge, and he's going to want to grab a bit of a better weapon up top.
That's the thing. This Cosmic Divide might actually help them. It's going to allow them to just take this control back into the site that they didn't have. Okay, maybe there's an angle or two they still have to clear. And then they even have one of their own if they really want to try and split up some of these remaining players. This is not an easy scenario, and as you mentioned, with the weapon upgrades now on the side of Giants, they have a real chance.
That smoke has blocked off Cloud for the time being. They'll have to push through that. It could be uncomfortable, but not with the flash. They're dodging the flash, though, and well able to take that kill. Rhyme, though, has a chance now. Just one man left. They healed up at a Captain. But luckily, he's able to deliver those final shots of the round. Another chance for FUT.
I'm just always sweating with this team. Please tell me we have the nuke angle. Please. Like, I don't know how they managed to get 2 kills with those sheriffs. It's just ridiculous stuff. Oh, okay, wow. I need it. Yes, give me some sort of slow-mo on that. It's just absurd how clean that was, but even still, big round from Ada Captain. They're showing these clutch capabilities, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, economy-wise, this will hurt them. But in terms of grinding the game back, getting the momentum in their favor, winning these clutch rounds, even if it's versus weaker weapons, I think that's actually what FUT need.
They do need to win rounds, I'll say that. That's probably the #1 thing I would tell them to do at this point. But, you know, the problem is you see it go that close versus those pistols, and then you start to wonder what happens when they've got rifles in their hand. Maybe nothing different. I mean, it's not like Nuki was limited in any way by having a wall bang
already
someone,
got the showstopper back, by the
a player out of the sky, and now, yeah, he's got a rocket launcher to work with. Hoodie, he's in a dangerous position. So many enemies there.
Yeah, not having the knowledge that this position had already been taken. I'm scared with Nuke there. There's so much opportunity, but actually doesn't get the kill. If that went into the vent, he might have had a freebie instead. They are sprinting back towards this B site, spotting the majority of players on the other side of the map. This leaves Rhyme in such a tough spot. He gets absolutely nothing. A good switch up, a fantastic mid-round call, and now the B site is firmly under the control.
Oh, that's not a fight I thought he'd win.
How?
Again.
He always seems to just be alive on nothing.
But look at the position from Kiwi, right? This is where I don't expect to see them really fighting on the side at all. They want to just keep them back.
They might hear it.
Keep them out. Look at the position.
They
for
have
Moj.
heard him. They've heard him.
Oh, no! Okay, but Moj still has a great position to play from. Needs to get some work done from here. He's heard stepping around. Now they know exactly where he is. Dealing with him's another story. Cloud won't get it done. God. Not this time. A Cloud clutch denied as FUT push up to 10.
This, genuinely, the amount of rounds where FUT should just be winning this with 2 or 3 players alive, and every time it comes down to a 1v1 because somehow they throw these little bits from individual positions, and then they still win the round anyway. It's just ridiculous. It's like they're making it harder for themselves and still winning the rounds.
I'll tell you what, they're putting on a show, man, and that's something we can thank them for sure. 13-5 on the first map, both pistols under FUT's belt. It was a devastating display, but now we come on to Split. Certainly splitting the difference between the two. Kiwi actually leading the charge right now. Top of the scoreboard, 23 kills. The next closest is Cloud on 21. Fatinho looking good as well. His assist game has been off the charts. For Giants, they have a lot going their way, but it seems like they ran into a brick wall at some point. FUT have shown up.
I'll be honest, at this point, the map should be over. Like that 1v2 won by Moj a moment ago. Even just some of the 1v1s we've seen in the late round. The comebacks that we've had, and as said, the more of these clutches that go FUT's way, the more pumped up their players are going to be, the more invincible they're going to feel. This was a game that looked pretty much finished when that pistol round went in the other direction, going onto this defensive side for Giants. Now, the difference, after winning 1 of the last 6, is 2 rounds.
The recency bias there certainly feeling different. We've seen a lot of teams. Oh, whoops. We've seen a lot of teams come into this and play.
Hoodie's got a Marshall.
Oh, have you heard of his Marshall before?
I have heard of his Marshall. It's very good.
Haven't seen much of it today, but you know, I'm here for it if he's able to connect a couple of crispy shots.
I think this is the first time as well in like a low buy round we haven't just seen Cloud with a rifle. Like they've been willing to take those sort of risks and see what he can do with it. Don't think he had the same finances this time. He was winning like some of the clutches in the earlier rounds, so maybe just having a bit of a obscurity with the purchases. Now again, we're going to see Rhyme in this position. They took a lot of damage when they went through Heaven last time out, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try and challenge this. Timing for him will be everything. By the looks of it, they're not going anywhere near that smoke.
Oh no, they cleared Heaven now. They're just going to run through, look to move to site, and they've spotted one player there, another towards the spawn. They should not expect that there is a judge waiting, but they've caught it anyways. Good clearance by Cracks as FUT storm onto the site. There is nobody to stop them here. A kill or 2 for Giants amounts to nothing when that spike goes down.
Again, no round has finished cleanly for them thus far, but they have managed to eliminate Cloud. It's left all onto Nuke. The spam at least does damage. And again, FUT continue to climb their way back. Giants have one more chance to take their map choice in regulation, or they might have just choked a ridiculous lead.
Tell you what, I wouldn't want to be going into a debrief with Pipson after this one. Already, he's going to have a few notes for the team.
He's going to have a booklet.
But yeah. And I'll tell you, this final round, the pressure is most definitely on. If you look at Giants as well, they don't have impactful ultimates in the same way that you would hope. Their showstopper isn't online. Their pit isn't here to change around and lock down map control. FUT have lockdown to try and close in the distance. They've got a res if they need it as well, very close to their older ultimates. You could realistically see Kiwi come out of this round with a showstopper popped right towards the end. There's a ton of opportunity for this attacking side. I think this is one of their best chances.
Lockdown utilized. Again, we know that there's this back corner that they're going to have to clear. They threw a flash in outside of A to maybe try and fake some of those players in, and it did work out initially, but Rhyme is doing a good job to delay them. Just sit on the edge of that lockdown. It's still a position that they need to clear, and actually, they're leaving it somewhat unchecked. A free kill for him, just 2 players standing. It's going to have to be another clutch scenario. They don't have anything to play with, a free kill at least as they spam through.
And that's when they bring Fatinho back online. There's just no easy way out of this. Still up against the 4 players on the other side. Flashes a ton. In fact, Fatinho still has both of his playing through that Cosmic Divide. Could be dangerous. In fact, he just plays in front of it, takes down 1, leaves Mr. Fallen all alone, and fall he will. 13-11. It was close in the end. That was the close game we wanted, but the series ends 2-0 nonetheless, and with that, the win streak of Giants continues. Now 3 matches in a row.
Yeah, it seems like it takes a lot to topple a Giant, but FUT gave it a damn good try, climbing all the way back from a horrific initial scoreline after a map that they suffered a pretty brutal defeat. But as said, I feel like we've seen this throughout the season so far. Giants, I think a lot of people in the initial stages rated them highly. They lost to Fnatic, they lost to Na'Vi, people started to have their doubts. Well, they're now starting to go through every other member of the league. They are not a team I want to be coming up against over the next few weeks because they seem to have learned from their mistakes, and as they go, they've got better and better and better.
Oh, they really have. I mean, that first map was clinical, especially because we didn't necessarily expect to even see it today.
Nope.
So for them coming in here,
Lotus,
right? So this isn't something I think Giants maybe even specifically prepped for this series. They came in, they looked good. They had an idea of some of this stuff.
And Milan, they
That's
definitely
the thing. Look at
prep.
the alarm bot, the way they dealt with the alarm bot around mid. And some other teams haven't been able to do that coming in. It was clear that despite the fact that this wasn't towards maybe the top of the map pool that they might have expected, they still had the groundwork there. They had their notes ready. And they played it to perfection.
Well, let's put it this way. The first map of the Prime Gaming match highlights is going to be incredibly quick. There really wasn't much to write home about when it came to Icebox. And honestly, that's the main problem I have. I almost feel like they lost this one in the veto. I think floating Fracture might have been a risk for FUT, but I think it was a risk worth taking. And very easy to say that in hindsight, going into an Icebox that up until this point, I don't think many people had the read on. But I think, again, if you're going to go back to people like Lothar, I think they're going to have enjoyed how Giants actually played this one.
I think
going into Split, again, I feel like this was one they probably will want to have won a little bit cleaner. Like there were a lot of sort of mistakes that were made towards the end and just showing that clutch potential of this FUT roster. And they're still a team that I don't think anybody will want to face off against. This Turkish team have proven, again, beginning of the season, most people had them very low. They made very little changes in terms of their roster from the team that just about managed to win the VRLs. Now, they're in contention for playoffs, very much in contention.
The Giants are looking fantastic this season. I mean, you gotta be honest with yourself. The level of play, even on that last map, sure, it started to fall down a little bit towards the end. There were some hiccups there, but that's going to be something that gets fixed over time as well.
Yeah, it's going to get fixed.
Every time we see them, they look better. It's really wonderful to see, but I can't imagine the notes that Pipson's walked out of with that last game, man. He is going to be... He's going to be debriefing for a while.
Stop losing 1v1s. That's going to be the main thing.
Good advice, to be honest. Yeah. I think everyone should try a little bit of that. But all in all, man, what an unbelievable series we had towards the end. First map,
Split was good.
First map, hard to believe it happened that way. Second one, certainly sad that we didn't end up going all the way. See the Turkish descent, it's always a pleasure. For now, though, Tom, that's the end of VALORANT for today. We're going to have a little bit more coming up after the break, but for now...
Post-plant, don't forget about that.
Who are you? Nice, Kirill, you're insane. Nice. Sit down, bro. Nice, Kirill. Nice.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Zero distraction. Zero doubt. Zero opposition.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal Valorant training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.
Hello everyone and welcome back. It's time for post-plant. I'm Yingsu and I'm joined here by Cougar and Nukie from Giants. First of all, congratulations on the win. This is a very short day for us. I'm sure you did that for Hoodie, right? So he can go home and get his sleep, because I've heard that that man can sleep for days and days and days.
12 hours.
Yeah?
He gets
Hours?
Yeah.
Did he have a good night's sleep last night?
Yep. Yeah, he did. I used to share a room with him, so I know that he can sleep past alarms. I would be the one that's turning off his alarm in the morning, and the alarm would go off at like 12. So I would be already dressed, I had my coffee, and then I would come back and I would turn off his alarm and wake him up.
You know, Nuki, we've met you, we've known you for a long time. And me personally, I think that this is the first time in all these years that I actually have seen you smile. I really feel like you have developed as a player, but also as a person. Do you feel at home there in Giants?
I mean, it's a kind of like a different approach to the entire team. We get like a more supportive role from the org, and it's also helping. I mean, everybody wants to be here and play, so that's the most important part. Like everyone's like enjoying the time and the company. So it's a bit of a different vibe, and everybody's like more relaxed in the team than compared to what I had before in other teams.
Yeah, I can definitely see the stress level have gone down in you as well. And when we see the replays and stuff, you guys are always like giggling. And all, I do kind of want to bring up a slightly bad memory for you. I apologize in advance. The Moj 1v2 in round 20, you're going to see it on your screen over here. What is it with Giants and Split B Heaven? Like, I thought you were about to win this round. I feel like the Na'Vi, I'm getting Na'Vi PTSD as well when you're guys about to win. So talk me through what was happening.
I mean, in reality, it was a lot of miscoms. This part was a bit chaotic in a way because Kirill, like, Cloud couldn't say fast enough, or like Rhyme didn't process it that he's low. He got dinked through the wall, and then he could have jumped off, they could have switched, or they could have baited and picked it and hold the guy together. So yeah, it's always like that. We have so many clutches that we lost, especially the Navi one in that position. It's a hard angle to play. I think it's also the map. It's kind of you can die from so many places in that plant. It's hard to predict. Like, he already saw that he was panicking when we said he could be on pillar, he could be in B lobby, he could be deep backside. I didn't remember if Rhyme cleared backside. He could be CT. You know, could have timed him and maybe he went around from vents, like did the full circle. You never know. So I think it's just like the map also being kind of annoying to play sometimes. That exact area, this is the hard to play.
Yeah, just real quick, because we didn't really get to speak to you before. During that Na'Vi game on Split, when Shao kind of snuck up there, did you think that you won? Did you guys like think that you'd won when it got to that position?
In a way, yes. I mean, it's never over until it's over, you know? Like, it's like always back in the head. Like, we lost so many rounds like that in practice and then already like in officials, so we never think that it's over fully. It's like a hard like PTSD, you know, like,
yeah, I'm so sorry to bring up.
Nah, it's fine, but it's like in reality, yeah, we thought we won, but then I don't know, the game is like that. Also, the gun he was using, if it was a Vandal, I don't think he would get.
Yeah.
We thought
just the fire rate.
Yeah. Literally, even the casters. If you rewatch it, we all thought it was gone, and I was like, come on, Shao, like really. But especially, it's the defense that you guys are struggling with here on Split. You seem pretty comfortable in the attack. I saw that operator. You were just feeling the vibes. What is it about the defense here on Split that because you were so close to closing that one up, but you just weren't able to.
I think it's both ways in a way, because when we hit the scoreline of 12, the enemy team is already like kind of given up in a way. Like the enemy team usually gives up. It's like a mental thing a lot of players go through. It's like you don't know if you're gonna come back or not, and they start playing less like stressed. Like, I wouldn't say stressed. It's like they play a bit more free. And it's get momentum, and like they get one round, okay.
They get unleashed.
Yeah, he gets unleashed. Like, some guy gets the 2K, okay, the round is over. Some guy gets the 4K next round. It's like they're changing who's popping off, which for example happened in their team right now. Like, random guy was winning a random round. I mean, not random fully, but I'm just being like popping off individually at a certain time, and it's kind of, it's always like that. Some guy just steps up, and it's hard to close out. Also, we had mistakes with communication, overthinking some parts of the round, but like we have a good read and then we either rotate off or we didn't gather info, we come and just, yeah, they took timings, they played as 4 majority of the time, and it's like 3v4, they trade, they get side, it's hard to come back from that. Go back to the clutches.
It is a 2-0. Yeah. You're going to take the 2-0, you're definitely going to take it. We're going to rewind a little bit back to Icebox. I got 2 questions for you. First of all, Timmy the Tara getting 2 kills, and second, why did you ulti here?
I actually saw, like, in reality, I'm not afraid to ult a lot of the times on Killjoy. That's the mistake I've seen all the players do, and I said, if I'm gonna play Killjoy, I'm gonna waste my abilities. I don't care. That's the same with ults in other agents. Like, I used to make a mistake that it's like, I have to save the ult. And a lot of people do the same mistake, and it's like, you can get a very good round. Like, even this, it creates chaos, and I can play off it. And a lot of people don't do that, and
It's your way of playing the Killjoy, right?
It helped that your turret got 2 kills.
Yeah,
were you surprised?
I was laughing. I said, like, I got 2 with a turret. I didn't even see them. They're low, and I mean, I'm pretty sure they ran through the wall. I didn't see, actually, because I only saw the turret getting kills on the feed, and that's it.
I don't know how much you think about this, but to us, we were kind of in the doubt of why FUT didn't decide to go for the Lotus this time around. We know that you had a great result last week, and sorry, a couple of weeks ago, but were you surprised when you saw this Icebox? Or was this on the lines of what you
Yes
expected?
and no in reality, because they kind of, like, it's good to be in a team like that, because they respect their own map pool. They're like, we're super good on these maps, and we should pick these maps. And if it goes to Lotus, leave it as a decider. You know, still pick the best maps that's best for you. And even if the team is insane on that map, for example. Have insane wins. It's still good to go on that 50-50, that the both teams are good. And just, it comes down to individual level, you know? Like, whoever pops off in that map, even if that comes out to do.
Do you feel like they maybe showed you a little bit too much respect there? Because I feel like the Na'Vi and Fanatics of the league might have just not given whatever, wouldn't have cared how good you were on their best map. They would have picked it anyway. Like Fnatic picking Icebox, for example.
I mean, in reality, I still think it's about, you have to think about yourself and what your team is good at. I don't think it comes to doubt to picks that much. It's just overall, like, even if we're good on Icebox, same level as Fnatic, we would probably still pick it if the veto goes to a different outcome. We would even pick the map for them in reality, expecting maybe, it's planning, I think, even overall, and I think it's mainly planning, like how the team approaches the veto system.
I do want to talk about the maps a little bit more because you're only going to get one more chance of playing Icebox. That's next week, and after
Maybe you just played your last Icebox and you don't know.
You might
You
have
don't know
played
it.
your last Icebox for a while, but after that, oh, Nookie, your bind is coming back. The bind is coming back. Are you happy about this?
I'm happy about it. But I hate the map and I'm happy about it.
Wait, you hate the map?
I hate the map.
You do realize EMEA's greatest, most iconic Raze highlight came from you on that map.
Yeah, I hate the map.
How?
I don't like it. I just play good
But
on
why
it,
are
but
you
I
so
hate
good on
It's
it?
like a love-hate relationship, you know? You don't like it, but you
He's
just...
such a humble guy. He's like,
I
I
don't
hate
like
the
it.
map, but I just play so good at
But
it.
what is it about it that you hate?
It's too basic in reality. Like we used to joke around. It's like all the bad players play insanely good on it because it's been out for so long. Everybody knows everything about it.
Can you say the same about Haven, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
Ascent?
Two maps are the exact... Ascent is... No, Ascent, to be honest, it kind of is difficult to play. Like, you have to have some structure, but Haven is random because it's 3 sites. It's hard to defend. If you play 4v4, it's good. If it's not, then unlucky. But for me, Bind is terrible. And I think the rework is decent, but I think it needs still more changes to be good.
Have you guys played it yet? Like, have you scrimmed it?
I watched it, I ran around on it, and it's exactly almost the same map. Small changes, very small changes.
Is there something that you would like to change, like specific on that map? Is there a part of the map that actually makes you hate it, or is the entirety of it?
There's actually 2. It's Hookah and Lamps. It's like a bit, needs some changes because it's hard to retake sometimes those areas, or hard to attack those areas with like gambling and peeking to angles that you shouldn't be peeking at. And I think mainly those 2. And the sides got changed, which is kind of good. I think the B side needs to get changed a little bit in a way. So there's like place where to stand. It doesn't force the afterplan meta that everybody play, like Viper, Brimstone.
Yes.
Which is annoying to play against, especially since there's no realistic way of how to counter it.
It's good that you voiced this, because devs are listening, you know, and they care about your opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if people are going to play Harbor on Bind. Probably.
100%.
Yeah,
I think 100%.
probably.
We already saw teams before the bind got removed that started playing Harbor. I think one of them was Vitality, if I recall correctly. They
Oh.
played Harbor at least. I don't know if they played in officials. I might be leaking it, but I assume
It's
they
okay,
played.
it's not your team.
I mean, it's not my team. I don't care.
I will want to ask though, because I'm really shocked to hear that you don't like Bind, because I don't think you've ever had a bad Bind performance. It was just like a frag movie every time you were on it. So I do want to talk about the moment. For those of you guys that don't know at home, there was a Techers with the satchels. I think it was against Zeke, right?
Yes.
So you dodged his ult. You were kind of mid-air. You threw a satchel, you dodged it, and then I think you killed him as you landed. And I think a lot of people wanted to know if you meant to do that. You practiced doing that, or was that just like you got a bit lucky with the angles on the fly?
I mean, lucky with the timing of the rocket in a way, because I kind of, from a race point of view, it's like a psychological thing also. Like, you have to predict with the race ult where the guy's gonna go, and that was the only area I could go. And if he hits it, like in that under heaven or heaven, I would be dead. So I understand, like, I'm gonna die soon, so I'm just satcheling away. I used to do it in prax a lot. Like, I started dodging ults for quite a bit. Like, I was kind of practicing because it would be good just running in front of your team. The guy will focus you and just jump over it, you know? I did against Fnatic in Split. I went up vents, I baited the ult alone, I went back, we're 5v5, you know?
Yeah.
It's just...
Wow.
I mean, people are afraid of the rocket a bit too much.
Yeah, because everyone just hides, right?
Yeah,
They
everybody
just,
just
like, run
runs
away.
like
Yeah,
ants, you know, run away from it. And I'm like, much.
You were mentioning the Harbor possibly coming into bind. We also have Gecko coming in new. Is there any crazy composition that I'm not saying that you guys have practiced?
He's about to leak everyone's talks.
I can leak everybody's
So
talks.
Vitality. What would you like to see, or do you think that we can expect some, you know, kind of zoological comps with like Sky Harbor?
I mean, realistically, I think it's going to be a lot of the old comps that people ran before in mine. I don't think it's going to change a lot. Some teams might run Harbor, for example, Vitality. And I think Gecko might come into play because the Molly is super big for the size it has, like for taking zones. You can take hook alone, you can Molly site on all sides pretty much. Taking control also like of even executing basic sides, like Gecko will be pretty strong. The ult is super good for clearing elbow on B and whatever, but I don't know, we might see some Gecko Sky Harbor or something and people playing super fast with Raze. It's gonna be an annoying map to play against, and I know it for sure.
Oh.
And also, there's more angles. In reality, you don't need the op anymore because they made more angles they can play with Vandal, I feel like. So opping might be... I don't think people will play Jet as much unless they have a Jet one trick in the team that doesn't know how to play anything else, which is pretty common in all the regions.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we don't get Chamber, I'm fine. Like, Chamber on Bind, I was so bored. It was just the
most
worst thing ever. Yeah.
I think that's what made them change the map. They
Oh
were like,
God,
no.
it was... Yeah. I actually think you might be right. But another 2-0 for you guys this week. If we take a look at the standings, you guys are just going up and up and up. You survived the Na'Vi Fnatic, and now it's time for you guys to get unleashed a little bit. We're going to have the standings in just a second. I do want to ask you, because I feel like there's some teams that are struggling as well. Not just one team. There's quite a few teams I feel like we didn't expect them to struggle, and you've definitely been in a position in the past where everything just seems to be against you. It doesn't work. No matter what you do, you have the right players, you know, everyone's gifted individually, you have a good coach, but then it just doesn't kind of get you the results. So, you know, talk me through how they might be feeling in that position and how you think they can maybe dig themselves out of it.
I mean, it all comes down to, it's mainly mental blocks in reality. All of it is just people's mindset and how they approach the game and how they deal with officials and the stress, which is, I think it's pretty controlled in a way, because you have to think about yourself. A lot of people think about their teammates, they involve their teammates too much, and if this person is not playing good, I cannot play good, and you have to kind of play and become the best version of yourself for the official, which is, I think it's pretty easy in a way, because the more you play, especially right now in EMEA, these teams, like they're playing right now, like all of them have so many officials on their like belt, and I don't know, like prepare a plan, talk as a team. It's very important. I feel like that's the most important thing. You have to talk it out, and everybody has to be on the same page. I think that's the only reason why people lose officials, because they have 2 different ways of playing or 3 different ways of playing the game, and one guy wants to play like that, another guy wants to play like that. So yeah, same page, talk a lot with your team. Also be good individually. I think that's the biggest problem. Like people struggle on stage, including myself. The first officials, I had a slow start and was hard to come back from mentally. So yeah.
Oh, it's good that you're here. Also, you know that Giants is becoming like Spain's last hope, kind of, because of, you know, how...
Yeah, only hope, maybe.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No pressure.
Well,
No, I'm so
just,
toxic.
just because,
I'm so toxic.
you know, they've beaten both the Turkish teams now. So...
Wow.
2 O's on the same map.
Wow.
But anyway, you know that it's a huge fan base, and now they're kind of counting on you to at least make it. You still have to go up against Team Heretics. You remember you were
Nice
there.
teammates.
Yeah, and Vova and Mixo are there. You're looking forward to that. That will be in a couple of weeks.
Yes and no. In reality. Because it might come to become an emotional match, because it's like always like that when you play against your old teammates. It becomes a super emotional match, and it's like everybody's trying to better the ex-teammate, you know?
We saw it the other week with Redgar. He was going crazy.
Yeah. For example, that, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see how much they improved since the time I played, because I didn't follow how they play. Like I only saw the scorelines and the tab on how the kills and deaths are, but that's pretty much it. So I want to see on the server how it feels to play against them. So I would say yes, I'm looking forward, and no, because emotions might get ahead of me, and you never know what kind of performance you'll get.
That is so many layers to that game as well, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like your ex-team, your ex-teammates, you got like...
Your first trophy.
Yeah, first trophy, we're dragging out first strike stuff. There's a lot of storylines. I think it's going to be really exciting. We do have the standings now. It has been fixed, so we can see just how well you guys are doing right now. I think there's a lot of 3-1s and 3-2s. Actually, even if Fnatic go 5-0, they are not locked in. They can still not make playoffs.
A lot of things have to happen.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy right now, how close it is. Do you anticipate maybe in week 8 that the standings look a little bit like this, like these are the top 6 teams?
I think it can move a bit around in reality. I think there might be a lot of upsets. Like I said, it's also the same as match point. A lot of teams will have less pressure, so they will start playing less pressure, less emotions, and they will play a bit more loose. So I think the performances can change, and I think there could be upsets and people popping off like individually. So I think it can change, and people can definitely upset the insanely good teams.
It definitely looks way different that first week, and we didn't have a chance to talk to you guys here. We didn't have any post-plan together. But after that first week, after you got those 2 losses against Fnatic and Navi, that could have, maybe been that 2-0. How do you think you've outgrown that as a team? How do you think that has made you grow? How much good has that actually done on you?
I mean, we were even theorizing that playing Fnatic and Navi in week 1 is probably the best thing you could do, right? Get it out of the way.
How many good pracs have you got?
I mean, good pracs overall. After those 2 games, first game was like kind of understandable that it's gonna be this outcome. In reality, we didn't give up. We tried giving our all, but Fnatic came off a honeymoon in a way. Not only honeymoon, but they won the tournament. It's a momentum gain for them. The players feel that they can win anybody when you win a tournament. That's how you feel. Yeah. And we just fixed the mistakes. We came to Navi. Emotions got to us. It's also like a lesson that we wanted to go through. Emotions, and then trying to play against a good team. And that's it. And we fixed those problems. We're still super emotional, but it's easier to play right now. So. And now we had like, I think 80% win rate on prac, so it's good for us. I think it's going pretty well, and I think you can see it on the server.
80% win rate?
Yeah, we did the math. We track everything.
So. They don't get emotional there.
That's crazy high. That is really, really high.
I don't know if you've seen, I think that you might have heard of what happened to K-Corp and the decision that they've made. What do you make out of the situation? I mean, if you want to say something about it, we don't want to force you to it.
I mean, they're in the rough patch, and I kind of respect the player that left and he doesn't want to go through it. I mean, it's a bit unfortunate, but a lot of teams have not a proper 6th player, and it's kind of coming back and biting them.
Wait, who's your 6th player?
Milan.
Hey, what up?
Just like, I feel like it should be Pip.
Yeah,
like
we had a theory. So what if, for any reason, you guys imagine that something happens to FUT tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And then Giants promote Milan to coach, and then demote Pipson to analyst. So then Milan can be coaching and Pipson can be the.
But I think it's not allowed, right, Luz? I'm pretty sure that people already thought about it.
But is there a world where you would be okay with, let's say, like Cloud sitting out and Milan playing?
Sitting out, no, unless there's a valid reason of like illness.
As in, if Milan had to play.
Yeah, I mean, then I don't know. We would probably drink so many energy drinks that people will have perform like on steroids, but or we put him on the roll and let him go first all the time, as a meat boy. I mean, he has good moments. We play ranked with him. Sometimes he pops off. He knows how to shoot, He's not a complete terrible player, but yeah.
No, but the way that I wanted to conduct this question is that that now their assistant coach is actually going to be IGLing as well. That is a task that you had put on yourself in the past. Something that did you actually want to do, or was it like a little bit forced on you? Did you want to be kind of the hero in that situation where things were a little bit lost? Or how was that for you?
I mean, I hated it because I was forced to do it.
Okay.
There was no other option. We couldn't get any other players. We couldn't afford getting any other players because everybody that's good in IGLing, or at least decent, had signed contracts. And when G2 comes to buy your player, you know how it goes. It's like the org asks for the max amount of money.
You've been on that other side.
I've been on the other side, realistically, so yeah. It's hard to do it, so yeah.
You don't miss it.
I don't miss it at all because it's also regarding the players. For them, I think Scream will play better right now. I think all of them will play better because then there's no focus on gelling. So I think Scream performing, just put him on Jet, let him dash around, get kills. I think that's the way to go. We saw it in first strike against Theoretics when we played. Scream dropped like 40 bomb on us, I don't know, like something like that. It's like playing alone, one-man army. And the back team, the team was not as good as I think this one individually, at least for now.
Speaking of Scream, he's going to be playing tomorrow, so let's take a look at the schedule. Nukia, you're not going to be with us tomorrow, so I want to get your prediction. We've got K-Core versus Na'Vi and BBL versus Vitality. Who's winning, in your opinion?
For the Na'Vi K-Core game, I would say it might go 2-1 for Na'Vi. Because, I mean, listen, it's good to underestimate K-Core, but I think if he's calling and it takes all the pressure off the players, I don't know if he's calling, I don't know who he is in reality, no offense to him, sorry.
He hasn't played since 2020.
Yeah. So I don't even know his name like fully in the scene, so I think it might be easier for K-Corp, so it might take one map off Na'Vi, because I think Na'Vi is like still in the experimental stage, they're experimenting the maps and whatever. So yeah, that's like 2-1. Another one is, who else is playing tomorrow? I didn't see.
BBL versus Vitality.
Oh, that's gonna be a full deathmatch. It's gonna be a lot of fighting. It could go. This one's hard to predict. I think it's 50-50, and whoever pops off that day could be even like a hard game.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Nukia. Very, very last question, because we had Safe on Postplan yesterday. You guys are playing against them next week, I believe, and I don't know if you've been on the receiving end of any Safe trash talk, but every single person that we've had on the show has given us an anecdote about him giving it a bit of banter behind the scene. Have you been on the receiving end of it?
No.
No? Okay. He said he was going to go do some research and maybe trash talk you guys before next week's game.
Cool.
So anything you want to say to Safe while we have you here?
Nah. On stream, no.
Okay, but like, I guess when you go behind
yeah,
stage, you're gonna nudge him a little bit, and you know.
I can't regarding riot rules, so I'm not gonna do that.
I told you he's a changed man.
He's actually a changed man.
I'm reformed.
Oh, okay. Oh, I want a little bit of the... Because Safe has said that no one has ever given it to him. He's like, I'm
Oh, no, on stage I'll give it to him, but I know.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll take that.
We'll start screaming, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll put a camera in front of you and camera in front of Safe. Because he
Okay.
was a little bit sad that nobody would give it back to him when he's like screaming at them on stage. So we'll definitely keep a close eye out for that one. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for Cougar as well. And congratulations once again to Giants for the 2-0. We have more Valorant coming up tomorrow, starting with K-Core versus Vitality. No, K-Core versus Na'Vi. Have a lovely evening and a good night sleep, you guys, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Right into him. Just gorgeous. I'm enjoying every second of Giants gameplay here. But look, a little bit of a problem here for Fadinho. He ain't getting out of that one alive.
Who are you?